Happy Friday, everybody in the Delaware Valley and beyond, and all our friends over in England. Right now, as we get ready for a great weekend of Phillies baseball over in London. Can't wait. A lot of stuff going on in the sports world, even though the Phillies are off, and we're here to take you through it. Up until 2 o'clock, we'll take you to the best show ever. Sitting in my co-host chair today, the affable Ray Dunn. How are you, Ray?
Good morning.
Everything
doing
good?
Great.
Yeah?
Yes. Wonderful day.
A lot of talk about your Camden River Sharks jersey on the morning show this morning. Very good.
Yeah.
You always have a theme on Friday?
Today, I'm not really sure what it was, but I saw this, and I was like,
it's a throwback jersey.
I'm wearing it.
Yeah, it's a throwback
Absolutely.
jersey. Josh Safran is producing for us today. The what's his nickname? Positive Josh?
Positive Josh. We're going to break him today.
Well, I swear I want to break you so bad.
We're going to break him.
Yeah, I nothing major. I just want you
we're gonna break him.
I want the eyebrows to go down. I want the steam to come out of the ears at some point, and I want you to get pissed off at something.
You just hate how happy I am, Bob. Come on.
I don't hate it. It's refreshing. And then I go ... and in smaller letters, annoying. But no, we got Josh on the board for us today. So looking forward to having, almost fell out of my chair. Looking forward to having a fun Friday. But we can't do anything until we get to the front page.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
I saw on Twitter before we started the show, bunch of people over in London chanting, "Let's go Phillies." Hundreds of them. We see all the highlights over there. It's pretty cool. We're going to talk to one of Ray's friends over there today. We're hoping to get Tom McCarthy. I sent an email out there, or a text out to him this morning. Hope to get him to talk with us about what it's like over there. But the Phillies will go against the Mets tomorrow, 1:10. Ranger Suarez on the mound, 9-1, 1.70 ERA. Both games, the Phillies, and my God, have they faced a lot of lefties this year. Two lefties the Phillies will go against, as it's Chaminade and Jose Quintana. Taijuan Walker will go for the Phillies on Sunday, 10 o'clock start. Then the Mets are off of a sweep at Washington. So, as much as the Mets really aren't that good this year, they're hitting a little bit of a hot spot now with 3 straight wins over Washington. With a win over the Twins last night, the New York Yankees improved to 45-19 for the best record in baseball, with 1 game up on the Phillies. The Braves won last night 5-2 over the Nationals, so the Phillies' lead has dwindled to 7.5.
Oh, no.
Sunday game, as I said, is at 10 o'clock, so you got to plan accordingly. Ray, what do you think? 10 o'clock's early for you on a Sunday.
No, that's right
because
around.
of your Saturday night shenanigans.
No, it's right around when I'm moving around,
That's your moving around time?
Yeah, I'm up by like 9:30.
Okay.
Start to move around.
All right.
I'll be out and about.
Anything special planned for a 10 o'clock baseball game on a Sunday morning?
Yeah, I'm coming back from the shore.
Okay. Sounds like fun. All right, when the Phillies are done this, it'll be Tuesday game at Boston, national game on TBS, but Zach Wheeler will go against Cutter Crawford. Your Philadelphia Eagles, they finished up their Mandy Minis yesterday. We'll have some sound to talk about as players and the head coach talked yesterday. We hit on it quickly before we got out of here yesterday as we had the Nick Sirianni press conference, but there's some things that we might want to go over there. New title or titles given to Big Dom.
Awesome.
Now, like a senior advisor to the general manager. From what I heard or what I read, and I don't know if it was tongue-in-cheek by people or not, it might be a title that prohibits him from getting kicked off of a sideline.
Yes.
At an Eagles game.
Coaching game day operations or game day coaching operations. Whatever it is, he's going to be on the sideline.
Yeah, so good for him.
That NFL.
Yeah, congratulations, Dom. Don't know the man, but have many friends that do know the man. Apparently, he's a real good one. Jeffrey Lurie, he's exploring selling a minority ownership stake of the Philadelphia Eagles. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means much, but it'd be cool if, I don't know. Go ahead. Who do you have in mind that'd be a cool minority owner?
I think we're going to crowdfund.
Okay, I'm
When
being
the midday
serious.
show takes a stake in the
Josh
Eagles.
is positive we can do it, but
yes, I think we could do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're going to pull together some money. It's going to be a very small ownership stake. But
That
we
would
will
be
own.
cool to open it up like the Green Bay Packers do
Yeah.
to the common public.
Through the midday show, though.
Okay.
Middays with Bob Cooney owns 2%
Yeah.
of the Eagles.
2%?
1%.
0.2%.
No, we gotta. I mean, we have to have at least a stake where we can at least have a little bit of a voice in the room. Like from the back of the room, like, hey, Mr. Laurie,
Can I get a shirt?
Are we sure about that one?
Yeah.
Are we sure about? I don't know. That coach or that, we have to have at least something.
Some kind of say.
We should probably get a better third wide receiver. Just us in the back of the room talking.
Okay.
Maybe beer should cost maybe $2 less. Something like that.
Fill it all the way to the top.
Yeah.
We did a story on that at the Daily News one time.
Did you?
Yeah, that the vet was giving away like 20-ounce beers, but they were only filling up like 18 ounces.
Oh, that's good investigative journalism right there.
It was, Don Russell.
How many of them did you consume for them to find that out?
We had to do our research. There's no doubt about that. Jeffrey Lurie bought the team in 1994, okay, for $184 million. You know how much the team's worth now?
$2.2 billion.
$7.5 billion.
That's what I said.
Yeah, you were right around there. So, on the national front,
$7.5 billion?
yeah, bought it for $185.
Wow.
Good
Yeah, I
investment.
didn't go to business school for a reason, guys.
Yeah, right. Well, a bad reason, whatever it was. Boston Celtics, they go up 1-0 on the Dallas Mavericks. They get a 107-89 win. A game that was a blowout from the beginning. The Mavericks cut it to 8 in the third quarter, about 4 minutes ago in the third quarter. And we'll talk about this a little later. 2 calls that were right calls, but prevented Dallas to cutting into the lead any further. Not something you see a lot in the NBA. They'll have game 2 on Sunday in Boston at 8 o'clock. Kristaps Porzingis comes off the bench after being out of the playoffs with an injury, comes off the bench and just gives them a spark immediately and goes in 20 minutes, goes for 20.6 rebounds, 3 blocks. And I'm watching, I'm going, this is the type of thing that never seems to happen for the Sixers. Porzingis he was a number 4 overall pick or whatever, but they get him, mold him into a Boston player. He comes back from injury, and sure enough, comes off the bench and does what he did last night. He was a real key to that game. Oklahoma University. You know what they did last night, right?
They won the Softball World Series for the fourth straight year.
I watched a good bit of it.
Yeah,
it was my back and forth. You hit the button that goes back to the previous what you watched. My back and forth was the Celtics Mavericks and the Oklahoma Texas softball game. My sister was a really good softball player. Her daughter just got inducted into her College Hall of Fame for softball. My brother-in-law's a softball coach. I have some interest in it. So dominance is kind of fun to watch, I think. And they have that with their 4th straight World Series softball title. The Lakers brass, they're going to be talking to one Danny Hurley today. See what goes on there. It's going to be quite a lucrative offer. There's been a lot of talk. You saw Gino Auriemma talk about it. He said he was out to dinner the night before all this broke and was kidding around with them and didn't know that this was really a thing about going to the Lakers. I'm just going to say my belief, if you're asking, I don't think he goes. I don't think he's going to go to the pro game just yet. Yeah. Like I said, father Bob was coaching St. Anthony's. I was very involved in the high school scene. The team that I was coaching with and all that, we played them an awful lot. I saw him up close and personal many times coaching. And I said this before all this came about. I don't know if you were in on it, that I said he reminds me of his dad an awful lot, that he's got this organization, which is University of Connecticut, right where he wants it. And the way Danny Hurley spoke about how he runs the program there at UConn with players, with parents, all of that stuff, I totally loved. And it totally reminded me of his dad. I just see it being a really hard leap to the NBA because he's running a college organization, much like his dad ran a high school program. And I don't know. I
wouldn't do it if I was him.
Somebody asked me, I think, on air if I would do it. And I said, no, I would not.
I would not.
Yeah, so.
Lakers are more interested in theater than winning.
He's got to, I don't think he would take it unless he was sure that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? I'm sure Danny Hurley goes into these meetings with, all right, I want this and I want that. But is Danny Hurley?
We'll give you that. Sure.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
We got it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Me neither.
I don't know. If your two candidates for the job are JJ Redick and Danny Hurley, are you sure what you want? Do you know what you want?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I don't know. That doesn't seem like an organization that screams put together.
Yeah, I'll tell
on the
you
same
what.
page.
There is a so what's his face? JJ Redick had Danny Hurley on his podcast soon after Connecticut just won their second national championship. Danny Hurley spoke for about 2.5 minutes about offense. And I'm not kidding. It was just like reeling off. It's like you talking about growing up and telling a story for 2.5 minutes just coming. It was amazing. Like, I was just watching going, oh, my God. Like, you have to be kind of a scientist to depict all the things that he's talking about, but that was really cool. On a sad front, former St. Joe's player Delonte West was arrested last night in Virginia. Apparently, they were going to serve him with a warrant. He ran away. They found him later on unresponsive. They tried to give him Narcan. It didn't work the first time. They gave it to him again. It did work. Wound up in the hospital, but then wound up being arrested and being held on there. So, such a sad story there for Delonte West. Prayers, thoughts go out that hopefully he can turn things around. But that's what we got going on today. And as I said, Ray Dunn joining me in the co-host seat. And congratulations to your sister, Michaela, who officially graduated from high school last night after it was delayed for a night because of rain.
24-hour delay.
Yeah.
But congratulations, Michaela. Very proud of you.
Okay. Yes, we are. Great name. The parents, just good name. Michaela, I like that name. Yeah.
Good name.
I've always liked that name. All right, I'm not sure how much better this season can get for the Phillies, Ray. Sitting around last night, and you're seeing all the highlights come in of the team plane that opened up like 100 beds on the team plane. We're hearing all the travel. We saw Tom McCarthy, saw pictures of him going around with his family. His son, who calls game for the Mets, is also there, which is really cool. I think this London trip might be something that we look back on, even though they're 44-19 now, and say, man, that might have been a key part of this season also. Like, I don't think this is going to be a detriment at all. And we put it out there to Larry Boa last week, and I've been asking you and when Amy was here about, do you think there's anything that could, maybe be a detriment about going on a trip like this? I don't. I think because this team is so close and they're playing so well, I expect them to sweep these two games, and I expect them to come out of this like another story to tell about the season.
Well, I think we're going to get some really cool things out of this. Like, we've already got the video of Rob Thompson, cheersing the entire bar. That's pretty sweet. Not something you're getting playing every single day. Like, you're not getting that out and about a ton. So that's been pretty cool. I also think it's going to be interesting the way they handle this. And this is not necessarily, apples to oranges, but I think or apples to apples, it's more apples to oranges here on this one. But, like, you're looking at a team that the way they're playing, they're going to end up having that time off at the end of the season, between the end of the season and the beginning of the postseason. This is the opportunity for them to a little bit of, hey, what is it like to have a couple days off? You don't get this a lot. Really, it's the All-Star break, and then in baseball, if you have back-to-back days off, the rain played a major factor in that. So a little bit of how you keep yourself engaged, how you keep yourself rolling at a time where, you've got a lot of other things going on, and, baseball stops Thursday afternoon, you don't pick it back, or Wednesday afternoon, you don't pick it back up until on a totally different time zone on Saturday. I think it's an interesting way for them to manage themselves and see how they can balance everything, because they're ultimately, we think, going to have to do that in the postseason.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it's going to be a really I just have positive vibes coming out of it. And sure, a 44-19 season, you can get positive about pretty much anything. But the way the fandom's going over there, I mean, it's amazing. The things that we're seeing. And as you said, Rob Thompson being I guess he was at the Passyunk bar.
Yeah.
So he's there last night. What was he drinking?
I don't know.
Right? It wasn't a big, because when Rob Thompson got here.
He strikes me as a liquor guy.
What's that?
It strikes me as a liquor guy.
Yeah, but it was funny because when he first got here, players were, I'm trying to get my seat down, it won't go down. Players were always talking about, like, he's the guy you'll go have a beer with. Like, Rob's that guy. And then last night you see him doing a toast. It looked like he might have had like a little whiskey going on or something like that.
Yeah, I think he's more, something neat. I don't know what exactly it is it's going to go in that glass, but I think that's the way he rolls.
Yeah?
I don't think that he's rolling. Like, I think he can have a beer. Like, we saw him cheers at the beers throughout the postseason, but I see him as more of a liquor guy. A nice little sip, kind of sit back, relaxed type of guy, not pounded beers.
Watching other teams play maybe late at night after a game.
Sitting
or
in
just
the clubhouse.
Maybe reading when he goes home, reads a nice book.
It strikes me as a guy that just has to turn on the game.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could have a drink with anybody, and Josh, I'll ask you, if you could say, hey, anybody in Philly sportsdom right now, hey, want to go out and grab a beer? And they go, yeah, let's go. And you go somewhere and you grab a beer, sit and talk, whatever. Who would it be? That's our first question we're going to put out there to everyone today. We saw Rob Thompson cheering the fans, everybody last night in London, and pretty cool. Puts a smile on your face. If there's anybody in Philly sportsdom right now, can't be from past, that you can say, hey, want to go grab a beer? And they say, yeah, all right, let's do it. Who would be your person? 610-632-0975. Let's have some fun with this. Ray, what's your answer?
I'm going Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think that'd be a fun guy to hang out with. I think he's got a lot of great stories. I think just his personality is kind of what I think carries this clubhouse. So I think I could get a lot from that. And he just seems like he's hit the part of his life where he's not as crazy as the younger guys on this team. You know, the Marsh, the Bohm, and the whole thing. But I think he can still get down and have a great time.
That surprises me. I thought you would go with some of the daycare club.
I was thinking it. Like, I was certainly thinking it, but I also have to...
I could see you and Stubby doing it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would go out with Stubbs in a second to go get a beer. But I think if I went out with Stubbs to get a beer, it would turn into like a dozen. And, you know, I mean, that'd turn into a great night. I'll be honest, I would tell the story of that night for a long time. So, yeah, I could see myself going out and hanging out with Stubbs. I also have this idea that at some point in the city, I'm going to run into them all out.
Oh, yeah?
I just have a feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them are over in the South Jersey area, too. A lot of people over there run into them an awful lot of times. How about you, Josh? You go up to a Philly athlete that's active right now and you say, yo, with your big smile and all your positivity and all, you know, and you're like, hey, what's up, man? You want to go get a beer? Be cool, right? And the guy goes, yeah, sure, let's go. Who would it be?
I'm going to go with, I'd go with, hey, Kelly Oubre, you want to get a beer? Let's have a great night. And then at the peak of the night, I'd say, Kelly, did you really get hit by a car back then? I want to know the answer.
That's the honesty question. See, that's the honesty question. That's not the guy you go out with.
Kelly Oubre would be a fun guy to go out with.
I bet he'd be a fun guy to go out with, but I would say that the answer to the question was certainly the question last week about if you could get any question answered. I wouldn't go, hey, you want to go out? You want to go out? Let me go try and investigate on what happened in your life. I'm a party guy, or you?
That's the kind of party guy I am, Ray. I got to get the inside scoop here.
I don't know. I don't know where to go with this. All of a sudden, he turns into an investigative journalist.
Yeah. Positive
Wow.
Josh to let me investigate.
Wow. We're looking for fun. You're looking for answers. I demand answers. Nick Nurse was somebody who was on my list because, you know, I would go, I guess, with the older crowd a little bit. John Tortorella, I think, would be interesting. I just think he has a lot of deeper thoughts. And
Yeah, you were a journalist too long.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
probably.
You're the wrong guy to go.
I know how to have fun too, Ray. Trust me. So as far as a player goes, I think it might be Jordan Mailata.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think he's a lot like Josh. I think he's got a lot of Mr. Positivity in him. And I think he's interesting. Of course, there's many stories. You grow up in another country, like that's pretty cool. You know, probably a lot of stories there about playing rugby and all that stuff. So that's our first question of the day. If you could grab a Philadelphia athlete and just say, hey, let's go out and have a beer, and you were guaranteed they were going to say yes, who would it be? Ryan in Havertown has an answer already. Ryan, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, buddy?
How are you? I would
good.
say A.J. Brown for sure.
He seems like a really good dude, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Is there anything you need to get answered? Like, Josh, do you have to do any investigative reporting with A.J. Brown, or you just want to shoot the breeze?
I would just like to see where this team's at right now, what these rookies are looking like, and really just how he feels with Saquon in the backfield and the confidence that this team has going into the year.
So you're kind of like Josh, where you're going to have questions that you need answered.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate the call. So is that the what do you call it? Is that the ulterior motive that you have to get questions in? Hey, let's go out and have a beer and have fun. But I'm going to drill you with questions until I hear what I want to hear.
Yeah, man, this sounds like a lot like you got a friend that's going through something. You're like, hey, let's go out. Like, I'm not doing that for this question. This is me having a good time. I'm not trying to solve the world's problems. You went the right
way. I think we went the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm not trying to solve the world's problems over a beer. I'm trying to have a good time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe I'm too short-sighted.
No, I don't think you are. I think you're probably looking at it the right way. But if I'm going to go out and have fun and just have a good conversation, yeah, Jordan Mailata's my guy. That's who I'm ticking. How about you? 610-632-0975. Just a fun question for a Friday. Who would you ask to go out, grab a beer? They say yeah. And why? Why do you want to go out and have a beer with that guy? Josh wants answers. I mean, like serious question answers. I don't think you would get that. And I think Kelly Oubre get up and walk away. Maybe even, little push to your chest or something like that. Like, seriously, this is why you asked me to come out for a drink because you wanted to ask that question? Disappointed in Josh already, first 21 minutes of the show. When we get back, we have some Eagles talk to get to because Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, a lot of the players, they spoke yesterday. We'll get into that. Plus, take a little bit more of a deeper look at this Phillies team right now because it is actually amazing what they have going on here. All that, whole lot more. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Almost 10:30 here. Middays, Bob Cooney. Hope you're having a great Friday. Going to be great weather out there this weekend, Ray. Very excited.
Very excited.
You know how much we like the good weather.
I am running out of here as soon as 2 o'clock hits.
There's a lot of running out of here. Andrew said he's going to be on the beach by 12:30. So if you're in Brigantine today and you see Andrew and Cooper Salciunas there, make sure you go over and say hi. Also, I consider Andrew in the sports world here in Philadelphia. So if you do see Andrew on the beach at Brigantine and going with our first question of the day, go up to him and say, hey, Andrew, do you have a beer in your cooler? I'd like to have a beer with you. And I'll bet you Andrew will supply you with the beer.
Supply?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Go up and ask
you're asking
Andrew.
him for the beer.
Right. Say, I want to have a beer with you, but say, do you have any beer?
I mean, that seems a little counterintuitive there.
No.
I don't know, how many people are doing the, hey, man, can I grab one of your beers because I recognize you?
Sure. Why not? I'm telling him to do that today. If you see Andrew Salciunas on the beach in Brigantine, I give you permission to go over and ask him for a beer.
Offer him a beer.
No. Go ask Andrew if you can have one of his beers.
Offer him a beer.
Nope. I'm reversing the trend
I
today.
don't like that.
I don't care. That's the little.
I don't like that
that's
at
what
all.
I'm putting on Andrew Salciunas today. Make sure you have your red Solo cup in hand. That's all I'm asking, and then go up to Andrew and say, "Hey, I'm a little short here. Can I get a beer?"
That's so weird.
No, I don't care. That's why. That's what we're all about.
Imagine
being weird.
walking up to someone you don't know, like, hey, man, can I take one of your beers?
No, I would go up and say, hey, aren't you? If somebody's going to have to recognize him, because otherwise you're going to go to everybody in the beach in Brigantine and say, are you Andrew? You go, you recognize, say, oh, Andrew Salciunas, right? Yeah. Hey, Bob Cooney on the midday show, he told me to come over and ask you for a beer, and Andrew's going to supply it.
You think?
Uh-huh.
I mean, Andrew's a very generous host.
Yes, he is.
I don't want to
He's listening right now, saying he's going, son of a... So he's going to stop and get extra beer. That's okay.
I'm trying to protect.
He's making the big bucks on the morning show. Are you kidding me?
Good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. I do hear he does a read for a beer company, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, he's probably set. They're probably sending him cases on cases on cases. In that case, I might stop and get myself a case from him.
Yes. So I grant everyone out there in the Brigantine area today, if you see Andrew Salciunas on the beach, do not hesitate. Go over, say, hey, how are you? Good to see you. Bob Cooney on the midday show told me to come over and ask you for a beer.
I know what I'm doing on my way down the shore.
Yes, to have Andrew give you a beer. I see nothing wrong with it. You have a fun story from your old high school. Your sister graduated last night, but there's a retirement going on?
Oh, yeah. My broadcast teacher, who I love and adore, one of the best people I've ever met. Today, apparently, they showed up to her home.
This is where you say her name.
Okay, Merge. I don't know. Cheryl Merge.
Everybody
great
knows
woman.
Merge.
Yeah, great woman. I was just, for my own personal sake, they're just saying that she's a fantastic teacher. School police showed up today to her house and apparently shouted in front of her home, come out with their hands up, and took her to escort her to school for her last day. What a way to go out for retirement. So happy retirement.
Happy retirement. That is awesome. I love when people are so special in other people's eyes that they do stuff for them.
She's a wonderful woman.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you've talked glowingly about her. You've mentioned it off air to me many times, how she's one of your favorites, if not your favorite teacher you've ever had. So that's cool. Good for her. Happy retirement. Hope it all. What do you got?
Tying our two subjects together, another great teacher I had, professor at Temple, just mentioned that maybe I could go grab a beer there. So maybe I'll go see someone else this evening. This life just works out here.
You know, I'm just trying to get everybody to be happy.
Yeah,
that's
is great.
all. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a beer. If you want to share soda or something, too, that's cool.
I mean,
We're not,
take a beer.
But if beer's your choice, that's good, too. Hey, the 10 o'clock hour, it's brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. You say we had somebody had a tweet or something about a really cool question to the show?
Yes. Dawood actually wanted to know if I ended up getting a beer with Stubbs, who emerges the better vibesman.
Oh, Ray is a good vibesman.
I would have to bow out of that competition. There's no way I'm out vibing Garrett Stubbs.
I think the gap closes between the two of you the more beers are consumed, I would say.
That's fair. I could say that. I do think there's a difference between being the vibes guy for a Major League Baseball clubhouse and what I do every day.
Then the midday show on the Fanatic, you think?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. You know,
Okay.
the grind of 162, We grind 4 hours of radio. Who's to say? But
Yeah, good point.
I think
We're all having fun. That's all that matters.
he might have me beat there.
Okay. Josh, we have some texts on who people might want to go out and get a beer with.
Yeah, we got quite a few. We got David checking in. He gave an answer for each team. He goes Phillies, Brandon Marsh, and says Wild.
I got a couple of Brandon Marshes that was texted to me.
Sixers, he says Oubre for the same reason as I do. We won't go to there. Then he says Flyers, Travis Konechny, because he'll back him up in any fight. Eagles, Lane Johnson, because, well, I mean, it's Lane Johnson.
Yeah, Konechny's a good one. Konechny, we've interviewed him a couple of times. I think it was before you and I were together. We've interviewed him a couple of times. He seems like a really pretty good down-to-earth dude, as most hockey players are. That's a good one. And when I first came to the station, or Konechny first came to the Flyers, whichever it was, I did that little. He was the guy that I had the crush on.
That's right. I do remember this.
Yeah,
yes, you had
I crushed his game. Yeah, and we had him on one time on a phone interview, and I think I freaked him out a little bit, and so I had
Checks out.
Yeah, I had to go back and apologize for that. But we had some fun with it. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the NBA game last night between the Celtics and the Mavericks because of all the things that you were doing, but game starts out. It's a blowout. Like right away, Boston not just right away, but Boston jumps them and gets out to a big lead. Kristaps Porzingis comes off the bench. It's so annoyingly just like what happens with the Boston Celtics. Guy comes back, they bring him off the bench, and boom, he's a spark plug right away. He goes for 20 points in 20 minutes. They wind up winning the game. But as mostly happens in NBA games, when one team gets up big, the other team makes a run. So Dallas gets it within 8 points in the third quarter, like kind of midway to late third quarter. I would say about 4 minutes to go. They get called twice in successive possessions for traveling. Would you ever think in an NBA game in this day and age, like if there's a call to be made that's going to like halt a team from making a comeback, it's traveling?
Something I miss in sports. Traveling in the NBA.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, I would not imagine that. I'll be honest with you. I saw the score after the first quarter while I was at the graduation. I said, well, thanks for showing up, Dallas. It was good having you here. We really appreciate it. The better team's thumping you.
I don't do this, and you know this for a fact because you know me now. I never make statements like this. I will make it now. This series is over. I said to my friends yesterday, we were talking on a group, actually phone call, and I asked them, what do you think? And it came out of my mouth that if Dallas didn't win last night and make Boston look a little ugly, it was over. And because after Doncic and after Kyrie Irving, I just don't know if Dallas has the horses. Last night, Jason Tatum, he wasn't spectacular, but they just get it from everywhere else. And then Kristaps Porzingis comes off the bench and does what he does, and that was just amazing. I don't think Dallas, I don't think they can hang. I think it might be 5.
5? Yeah, that's nice. That'd be nice for them. They get a win.
Yeah. I'm not.
I mean, I think that last night confirmed my suspicions of like, oh, this could be a really ugly series. I'll be honest. Once I saw the score, I was at the graduation. I was like, nah, this is not something I have to go back and consume. My suspicions have been fulfilled. I'm going to loathe watching Boston get another parade. That's what last night did for me. I was like, yep. All right, well, I'm going to have to deal with that reality in a week or two.
Now, Dawood, was it Dawood who got in touch with you? He also tried to call out violation on me yesterday on social media, saying
you did say.
No, I didn't. I said the only reason you could find to root for the Celtics is that the last 6 world champions in the NBA didn't make it out of the second round the next year.
Now, of course, that does mean that would be a reason to support them, which
I look at it more of a reason is you watch. Here's how I watch the games. I don't root. I don't have to root for a team. I just like to watch the games. And I think it's more of a side thought of, oh, God, Boston won. Well, at least, boom, boom, boom. Maybe they won't make it out of the second round. But another fun little basketball thing came up here that was emailed to me from the Sports Geek. They've been analyzing fan reactions throughout the playoffs, seeing which fan bases have been the most positive or negative, and also looking to see which teams have sparked the most conversation among fans.
Prepare to be shocked.
Number 1, I am a little surprised because they were only in it for one round. But number 1, with 31,180 negative tweets, your Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah. I mean, that's the least shocking thing I think I'm going to hear all day. That we were the most negative.
Yeah.
Of any-
Number 2, Boston Celtics.
Well, yeah. They're
just miserable
they're
people.
miserable
They're
people.
spoiled.
They're spoiled, but they're also miserable up there, and now they're like going to get the title, but our second round for them has been their NBA Finals.
Exactly.
Where they're like, this group is just never going to get to where we want them to go. We have our minds set on the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're just like, yeah, our ceiling's going to the finals but never winning it. This is so tough. This is such a terrible life. I'm so upset. Like, that's what Boston fans have gone through with this team. It's not deserved that they're the most negative, but that's the way their mindset's been. Now they're going to break through, and now I'm going to have to deal with that. But
Well, number 3 is the Denver Nuggets. You understand, defending champions, they go out early. I can understand a lot
They
of
lost
tweets
Denver.
going. But number 4, the Dallas Mavericks. So the two teams in the NBA Finals have the most. Now, it makes sense. They have the most
volume
negative
of tweets, I guess.
Yes, because of volume and your
outdid
expectations.
the
But
two finals teams.
2 finals teams, they got 3 more series than you did, but you had more negative tweets.
Hang the banner at Wells Fargo Center. The angriest fan base in all of the NBA when it comes to the postseason. We outdid both finals teams and the defending champion who went out in the second round.
Yeah. Okay. So yesterday we celebrated the 23rd anniversary of Allen Iverson doing the step over. Also Allen Iverson's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Along with my son Bobby.
Happy birthday,
so
Bobby.
they share a birthday. They don't share the step over, but they share the birthday. I don't know how old Allen Iverson is today. He's got to be up towards 50, I would assume.
Was it you that made fun of me for mimicking the step over any opportunity that I can?
I didn't make fun of you. I thought
did.
it was no. I thought no. This is don't go down. Don't you start being this person. There's too many of these people around. Don't start twisting things the way they were said. Here's how it went down, Josh. So Ray comes to me one day and we were talking about the step over and he goes, "Oh, we do the step over at my apartment all the time." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "When we have I said, "Do you have people like lying down all the time? Like what the hell's going on here?" And he says, "Yeah, we don't have a lot of sitting space and stuff. So when the guys come over and there's a group of us, there's a lot of people like laying on the floor watching TV. So we do the step over." That's all I said. I was only questioning, do people just come over your house and start laying down on the floor? That's all I was questioning. So don't say I thought it was stupid.
That kind of sounds like
Josh, who's in the right here? Was I being stupid and judging?
Whoa.
Or was I just asking?
I did not say that you were being stupid. I said
You were
thought
inferring.
I was being stupid.
Did I infer that Ray was being stupid at all?
I mean, it sounds like Ray needs to invest in another couch here. You got people laying on the floor.
Oh, you've been to the apartment. You had plenty of places to sit. Give me a break.
Well, then how is it that you're stepping over people all the time?
I didn't say it was my apartment. In the retelling of this story, it was someone else's place. But yeah. We were. You're gathered around the television. There's going to be, if you have a lot of people in one place, somebody's probably taking the floor.
There's probably going to be a little step over. I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think I'm not the only person out there. You see someone sitting on the floor or laying down, immediate step over.
It's been overtaken.
By?
The step over's been overtaken by the Euro step. How many times do we walk the hallways and we're Euro stepping? Pat Egan and I one time were in Las Vegas and we got ice cream. And if you know how he reacts to ice cream, he was Euro stepping total strangers.
Oh yeah, no, it's gotten bad for me too.
In the hotel. Oh yeah,
I Euro step all strangers all the time. It's
do you
bad.
really? That doesn't seem like you.
No, it's bad. I have to stop. Like, especially like when I'm at Wells Fargo Center for like a Sixers game, if I'm trying to get to my seat, like there's it's gotten to a point where I'm like kind of addicted.
Have you ever seen a counter?
No.
Have you ever seen somebody step in to try to take a charge off?
No one stepped in to take a charge. There's been a couple of blocks along the way.
Oh, people have gone up and blocked you?
No, I mean.
Blocks.
They haven't had set position and we've collided.
Oh.
What about practicing your jumper in the club? Did you see Kevin Durant this week?
I did see that video.
I didn't see that video, no. He was practicing his jumper in the club?
He's doing like jab steps, fadeaways, just
Did he
in
have
the
a ball
club.
in his hand
Oh,
or no?
No, he's practicing his form.
Did he have a couple in him or something?
I think I'm at the bar this weekend. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to be in the corner practicing my jump shot form.
And then get in another spot and do some Euro stepping and
I probably have to, man. Some of those crowds step through. I did it. I won't name the bar, but I did it somewhere in Wildwood, Memorial Day weekend. My buddy was like, "You just Euro step?" I was like, "I can't stop. I can't help myself."
Wow. I never envisioned you as a crowded in a bar Eurostepper.
Yeah, apparently, I didn't think I would be either, but
Connor is. I know he is all the time, and then he's, or if somebody Eurosteps him, he tries to take the charge.
no, I see Connor more as a push through. Like, like I kind of got the bravado, like kind of,
Oh, okay.
like he's more of a, get through the crowd type of guy.
Yeah.
I'm avoiding the contact. I think he's letting his presence be known.
Oh, okay. He's playing bully ball.
A little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Trey
Yeah.
Young, bait people into fouls here, kind of thing.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, Connor stops as people are trying to get a beer, so they bump into him.
I'm the Brunson of the bar.
All right, you can see we're way on track here today on this Friday. So when we get back, we're going to dive into the Eagles a little bit as they spoke yesterday. Hear what they had to say. I had a pretty strong reaction to what Nick Sirianni said, and coupled with Jalen Hurts. I'm sorry. I wonder if you might have the same. We're talking about Philly athletes right now. Who'd you like to go out and get a beer with? 610-632-0975. When we get back, we'll have all that. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Friday, a beautiful Friday coming in. It was funny. I left my house in a big cloud cover. I was like, what the hell is this? I get like a mile from my house, totally blue sky. So whatever was hanging over, it was clearing out just as I was coming in. I wanted to look at the weather over in London, England for the next couple of days. So I just called it up, Ray. You already did this practice, didn't you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I told you I'm not a weather guy.
So, what do you mean you're not a weather guy?
I don't check the weather.
So you got like a weekend at the shore or something like that. You don't check what the weather's going to be like.
I really know.
Are you serious?
Weather's going to be similar to what it was yesterday. If it's not, well, that's a big story. Then I'll probably have to adjust.
Well, like if you're like going, I don't know, down the shore and you're walking the bars and stuff and it's going to be raining, don't you like?
Someone's probably going to tell me if it's going to rain.
But don't you have to pack accordingly, or you just willy-nilly have all this stuff at your disposal?
No, I mean it's fine. I'll be able to survive the elements on that one.
Oh, that's weird.
If it rains, I mean I'm going to get wet.
Is that why you didn't listen to me when I told you that your sister's graduation was going to be canceled because it was going to rain and you were like,
No,
I'm going anyway?
I already been told by my mom. See, someone's going to tell me.
Josh, is this abnormal behavior? Do you look in advance at the weather?
Yeah, I think 99% of people look at the weather in advance.
Not a weather guy.
You don't have to be a weather guy, but it affects your everyday life.
Yeah, I'm sure. As the clouds start rolling in. Oh man, looks like it might rain. Probably should get inside. I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like I could just.
So wait. So for a guy that goes to a bunch of Phillies games,
Yeah.
oh, you just like, yeah, I'm going to the Phillies game tomorrow. Yeah, right. It's going to be a tornado. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, or you like
You just said it's going to be a tornado. Did I need to check the weather? We do weather small talk so much as a society. I don't think you actually need to check the weather because everyone else does it for you.
Now I'm checking the weather over in England because I'm saying, all right, 1 o'clock tomorrow, I want to watch Phillies. I want to see if there's going to be a rain delay or anything like that, or if it's going
I pop on the game and there's Phillies Clubhouse. Well, I guess it wouldn't be Phillies Clubhouse because it's national television. If it's ESPN trying to fill time, Fox trying to fill time, man, must be rain over there in London.
This is absolute craziness.
I don't think so.
So next week, I'm flying to Charlotte. I got to fly down to Charlotte
Correct.
to pack my son up, bring him back home. He's moving back home. I got to drive the 10 hours or whatever from Charlotte. You wouldn't look to see what the weather's going to be like if you're driving for like 10 hours to see.
You can.
Oh, what am I driving through?
You can talk to Coach Rich, the women's basketball team. When I travel with them, there's been a number of times like it's cold here. I thought we were going south. Thought it was going to be warm.
So you're stupid for not doing it.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, then why don't you just do it?
I mean, there's usually a general vibe. When I travel with the team, there's usually, we're going to somewhere warm, So, all right, we're pack a little bit more. Probably throw a long sleeve in there just in case. It's a lot to just, bog down your time with, what's the weather going to be? We'll worry about the weather. I'll show up. I'll be fine.
It's worse to spend 6 hours in the cold in short sleeves simply because you didn't take the 3 minutes to look at the
inside.
weather.
We're not going out. I'm not going outdoors. I'm not walking around the city.
You're friends with this guy?
I was not. I was aware of this.
You were or weren't?
I am aware. I'm the sucker who's like, it's going to be cold, right? It's going to be raining, and he just mooches off of that information.
You're a
Society.
moocher. You're a weather moocher.
Absolutely.
No one likes a weather moocher,
all
right?
All of you spend so much time worrying and talking about the weather that you do it for me, and I appreciate that. That's a great service you guys provide for me.
Wow, I learn more about you every day.
I'm just not a weather guy.
Okay.
Sorry.
You have to be a weather guy. Everybody's a weather person.
I'm not a weather guy.
You have to be.
How?
How do you not know to wear short sleeves today? You know because you know the weather.
Yeah, I mean, it's June. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere in the 80s. I'll throw on short sleeves. I wore pants today because, this is a pretty long jersey, and I feel like it would have looked like I was wearing a dress if I wore shorts. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll throw this on. I'll probably be good. Got outside. Wow, shocker. It was in the 80s. A little bit humid. Drove.
You're so weird.
I mean, am I wrong?
Tomorrow,
I don't
yes.
think I'm wrong on this.
I think you're wrong. Like Josh said, 99% of people look for the weather.
Yeah,
it's the
and they
most watched
inform
thing
me.
on the news.
And they informed me.
You have a decent point there. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Anyway, to get back to the original subject. Saturday in London, England. Cloudy early with partial sunshine expected later. High near 65. That sounds good. Sounds like hitting weather. Sunday, 66 degrees, sunshine and clouds mixed. Limited wind. Well, a little bit of winds, 10 to 15 miles an hour. Now, we talked a little bit yesterday about the stadium the Phillies are playing in. So I was trying to find dimensions. And it's really hard for some reason. Like I had to go through like 4 or 5 different stories, but it looks like it's like 392 to dead center field, which isn't all that major, not real big. Like 335 down the lines, which is kind of normal, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just ball flies out of there.
The ball does fly. Why do you think that is?
I think it was something with and it might have been something. I think Tyrone was talking about it.
The humidity? Is there a lack of humidity over there?
No, lack of breeze. I think it is.
Yeah?
Like you just kind of, because the way it was constructed for the Olympics, I don't know if they were trying to curb something for it. I don't know.
Inside the stadium,
Inside
you're
the
saying.
stadium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's nothing holding balls back.
Right.
But there's
It's just
nothing
kinda-
helping them either.
Correct. But I mean, these guys, they don't need a ton of help. They
They can hit.
392 to center. You get one good to center. I mean, that ball's gone.
So, Rob Thompson, you're going against 2 lefties this weekend. We know what he likes to do. You know, you can't have lefties going against lefties, so he's got to get the Paches out there and the
Well, you don't have Marsh.
Whit Merrifield out there. You don't have Marsh, exactly. But do you think he kind of owes it to Stott? Like, all right, this is a special occasion. These are national games. All of a country is kind of looking at you. Will he owe it to Stott to throw him out there for both games? Like, all right, this is our all-star second baseman.
I mean, I don't know. Owe it. I think he'll be in the
Well, no,
lineup one
that's
of the
the
2
word.
days.
You think what?
One of the 2 days he'll be in there.
See, I think he should be in there for both games. I think you do owe it to him.
I'm trying to think who's the other option right now.
Well, you can go.
Merrifield.
He has sat him. I mean, you can
Yeah,
go
he has sat
Merrifield
him.
at second, and then you can go like a Pache. What's his face? Who's the dude they just called up? Dahl?
No, you're going but Weston Wilson.
Oh, yeah,
Action
Weston
in left
Wilson.
field.
Yeah, he's probably going to get some time.
Yeah,
Right-handed hitter,
I mean, I think he plays
I think.
at least one of 2, and honestly, on merit, he probably plays both because you're looking around like I don't know.
I'm putting my best players out there. I
Do you owe
don't
it to
care.
Whit Merrifield for all his years in the league
No.
to be over the former All-Star to be out there on the field? Like, no,
You're
I don't think,
showcasing the best team in baseball. I think you got to put your
don't think
normal
it's-
starters out there.
I don't think it's an owe it thing. I think it's whatever they feel is best to win the baseball game, Bob. I don't
Okay.
think he's going to play. He's going to play one of the 2 games. He'll probably play both. I mean, it's the Mets.
Yeah.
Manaya and what? Quintana are the 2 pitchers this weekend. All right, like, go show it to us.
Like-
I don't know if it's an owe it thing as much as it's just like the reality of, he probably should be in there.
Yeah, might be a weird word, but like, I don't know. As a manager, I might feel a little guilty. Like, hey, we traveled all this way. This is a huge thing. Yeah, sorry, Bryce, at one of these games. It feels weird to me. Stubbsy, yeah, you're in there for JT. Nah, it feels weird to me.
Well, no, I think they made that pretty clear with the JT getting like 6 days off after, the tough shot he took the other night. Like he
Yeah.
had Wednesday off, Thursday off, Friday off. He'll play both.
God bless him.
Yeah. And then he'll have Monday off.
Oh, God.
So, I think JT you see both days.
Okay.
Stubbs, probably going to give a nice tour of, the town.
Yeah, Stubbs can hang with the Fanatic. And,
Yeah. I
do
feel
all the
bad
fun.
Brandon Marsh missed this trip.
Yeah, that is a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, but.
And our guy Junior.
Yeah, Junior. We have to get enough. We're gonna have to call Junior. We haven't talked to him in a while. We're gonna have to give him a call and find out how he's doing.
I think he's doing. I think he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
He'll
All
be
right, when we get back, I keep promising we're going to do it this time. We're going to look a little bit at what Nick Sirianni had to say yesterday, along with Jalen Hurts, because it convinced me of something. Maybe it didn't you. Maybe I'm, off my nuts on this one. Or off the rocker, I meant to say. I was going to say maybe I'm nuts on this one. Oh, boy. What time is it? 10:58. Okay, but we'll see what you think about what Jalen... Where are you going, Ray? What Jalen Hurts, what Nick Sirianni had to say yesterday at their press conference. All that and more. This is 97.5, The Fanatic. 11 o'clock hour here on Middays as we take you up to the best show ever. I've gotten some text from Ricky Batalico, part of that best show ever. He said there's only one answer as to what athlete in town to go out and have a beer with. His answer was your answer, Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, I thought he could have texted me that, hey, Ray, good answer.
Yeah, he doesn't like you.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to pick up on that
with
one.
This whole weather thing.
No, he knows I'm right.
No, I don't think he does. He's a baseball player. You know they were looking at the weather all the time.
No, he's a routinesman. He's got to show up, get his routine in, and then if they tell him, hey, Ricky, it's going to rain, then all right, fine. Maybe we don't play today.
Do you go to... No, he doesn't wait for somebody to tell him. He looks it up himself because he's a mature man. Do you go to the beach when you're down the shore?
Yeah.
So you wake up and you're like, well, it looks like the sun's out. I guess I'll go to the beach.
Yep.
But if you looked at your phone and said, yeah, it's going to rain really hard in a half an hour.
Oh, this is crazy, Bob. I scan the skyline. I'm like, those clouds look pretty dark. Maybe it's time for me to walk.
You've never been down the shore where it's been perfectly sunny and then a little bit later a storm rolled in that you couldn't see from wherever you were looking. I just think you're crazy on that.
I just kind of do the peripherals, look around. It's like, oh, yeah, wow. You know, that looks like storm cloud. I should probably pack up and get back.
I look at my weather app multiple times a day for different things.
And I appreciate you for that because that means that at some point you will inform me of something.
Now you've got my guard up. I'm never telling you again.
Well, that's okay because I already saw it. By the way, I was just getting the text line here, and somebody texted in that they want. It's Mark and Hapro wants you to tell me that it's going to rain when it's not, and it's not going to rain when it will. So, Mark, I officially don't trust you. Bob, my trust is now going to be up, maybe a little bit down on you because you're probably going to start trying to mess with me.
Okay.
Josh, who didn't bring up this text to me, also, my trust is now dropped in you. So I could see there's going to be a little bit of conspiracy against me to see that I won't understand the weather, and I'll be fine.
Could be, but we're just trying to make you a better person. All right.
I don't think that's a flaw of mine.
I
think I could name 10 bigger flaws of mine than not checking the weather.
No. I don't think so. I think it's a flaw, maybe not top 7, but definitely top 10.
Give me your Mount Rushmore of my flaws.
Yeah, we don't have enough time. We only have 3 hours left in the show. Okay, yesterday, Nick Sirianni came out and talked. Along with Jalen Hurts, when the two of them got done. So Ray and I were late in the show yesterday. We got to hear both of them talk, but we didn't have much time to react. So I want to replay for you. First of all, we're going to start with Nick Sirianni. And he talked about, which he seems to do a lot, some of the different things he does around this football team.
When I'm not in there every single second of every single day, that means I'm around everybody else, right? And so, because my relationship with Jalen's highly important, but my relationship with Milton Williams is highly important. My relationship with Clint Hurt is highly important. My relationship with Howie is highly important. And that's what you get when you're not so zeroed in of being with Jalen and the quarterbacks and the offense every single time of every single day.
All right, so I agree with the first thing that he said, in that when he's not with Jalen Hurts, he's somewhere else. That was good insight there.
Factually accurate.
Yeah, I almost could have guessed that.
Yeah.
Almost, but that's just because I've been around sports for a long time. That if he's not with Jalen Hurts, he's going to be somewhere else.
I don't have 30 years in this business, and I also could have guessed that.
Oh, really?
He's not, yeah.
Oh, it doesn't come from my past experience.
No, it's just actually a matter of being. If you're not one place, you're going to be somewhere else.
Okay, so if he's not in the quarterback room, he's making sure he has good relationships with Milton Williams and Clint Hurt.
Yeah, that does show me something. He's thinking a lot about that defensive front.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a defensive mind. So
defensive-minded coach.
I don't know. We also have to teach him how to say the word important, but because it came out like important. But okay, this is just all the buildup. I am not breaking down, making fun of what Nick Sirianni had to say. It's just going to be a buildup to something. So the other thing he was talking about was Jalen Hurts and the offense.
Yeah, I think he's done a really nice job adapting to, some of the different things that we're doing. And, some of the different, there's different concepts. There's similar concepts. But in those similar concepts, sometimes we're asking them to read it differently than we have in the past. And there's similar things with the way the routes are being run. And there's some differences of how we've run it in the past as well. So there's just all that goes with how, the play is supposed to be designed.
Okay. Just take that in. Take what Nick Sirianni had to say there, talking about, there's different parts of the offense that might look there, this and that and the other. Just keep that in the back of your mind as you hear what Jalen Hurts had to say about this new offense.
Right now it's been a lot of new inventory in. Majority of it, probably 95% of it being new. And so it's just been that process, and it's been a fun process because you get to see what works for other people. And the number of coaches that I've had since I've been here, I've been able to take in a lot of new knowledge and new understanding. And so I think the goal coming in was to learn Kellen's offense and master it. And I think that's been a process. And I think by the end of it, I want it to be mine and have it in my own way. I think that's kind of a credit to, again, the lack of continuity with that, and it being a thing where I've kind of had to take all these new things and new voices and still go out there and be successful and efficient. And so I think that's exactly what's going to happen again.
I molded those two together yesterday after we heard it. Sorry. Hold on one second. Thank you. After we heard those yesterday, I kind of molded it together, and I said to you, wow. With that, you know the new thing, how can you tell us you're not happy without telling us you're not happy?
Yeah. Good on
Tell
you.
us Nick Sirianni has no part in this offense without telling us Nick Sirianni has no part in this offense.
Yeah, that was
Right?
pretty telling. 95%. And then also Sirianni just be entering the building, making sure he's hanging out with Milt Williams. All of that combined. Yeah, he's the CEO for sure.
And it looks like he's embraced it. And it looks like he's not embarrassed of it. There's one more cut we're going to play from Nick Sirianni, and it's a little bit longer, but it kind of describes things that he's doing that are, I don't want to say beneath a head coach, but it makes you wonder. Let's go to that.
When I'm able to have like a kind of a broad view of everything, like a 30,000-foot view, I'm able to give little coaching points to a defensive back of something that I see, or to a running back who doesn't have the ball on the correct arm, or anything that has to do with the detail or the overall thing of the play. Like a DB went for a play on the sideline yesterday, missed it, and it gave up a big play as a result of that. And what went through my mind immediately is when I was in high school, I would go for a basketball, and if I would miss it, it'd be an explosive play essentially. And my brother, who was the assistant
All right. Let's. I can't get it. We can cut that now,
fortunate.
Josh, if you don't mind. I really don't. I think the biggest thing that he said there, so I'm wondering how this
He was
played
not
out.
able to get a lot of steals in high school basketball. That's what I heard.
Sorry, I had to cut that off. Every coach probably has to look at their team from the 30,000-foot view, right? You need to see everything. It's one of the first things you're taught as a coach. You can't just watch something specific all the time. If you're a basketball coach, you can't just watch the ball. Can't watch point guard. You got to look. You got to see the whole field, the whole court, the whole ice. I don't know. I look. This is so hypothetical, but it keeps coming into my mind. Hey Nick, you mind coming in here, buddy? No, this is Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. Yeah, we decided to keep you good on you. We got rid of the coordinators, and you were cool with that. Good on you. Here's how it's going to play out, though. You're going to be like, you're like Mike Tomlin. You're like Bill Belichick to us. So we don't want you to get specifically into like offensive plays and this and that. We want you to just like be the overseer of everything, just like they are. And then Nick Sirianni says, "Oh, they're comparing me to Belichick and Tomlin? Or you can't? You guys, you got it. You got it. If I see something wrong, if I see a guy like carrying the ball on the left arm when he's on the right sideline, I'm going to go tell him, you got to switch arms there." I don't know. How does this all playing? And now that's a very facetious way that I'm putting it. But how do you see this is playing out with Nick Sirianni right now?
He's senior advisor to the coordinators. That's what he is. I mean, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like, hey, man, you don't like what's happening? You go in there and start talking about it. But in terms of, hey, what we're actually going to do day to day, Fangio, you got the defense. Kellen Moore, you got the offense. And this guy is going to advise you on how he runs the team and how things have gone here in the past. And if he sees something he doesn't like, maybe he'll come in and correct it. And you get to take 5% of his ideas on the offense. You get to take 50% of his relationships with the room. And then from there, you guys figure it out. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
So, okay, I think we're all there. We're all there that he's the overseer, CEO, however we want to label it. you got to go to the next question then. Is that okay?
Has
Right?
to be.
Well, I mean, would you want him into something more? We've talked about it for days, maybe even weeks. Okay, I'm saying we've all come to the conclusion that we believe he is the CEO. You what was your term again? He's the
Senior advisor to the coordinators.
Senior advisor to the coordinators. Great. That doesn't reek of head coach to any of us, whatever. But whoever made the decision that it appears he is that, are we okay with it? Is that where we want Nick Sirianni to be? Has he shown us differently that, no, he should be in on this, that, or the other? Or is this the right decision?
This is the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not last year. We talked with Brian Dawkins. Was it earlier this week? Yeah, it was earlier this week, Monday. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yes.
You know, too many voices.
Too many doggone cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, but I can't say doggone the way he says doggone. It
Right.
doesn't
Nobody
have the same
can.
effect.
No,
Yeah,
it does
so
not.
I didn't want to.
I agree.
Yeah, so I was just trying to preserve that quote to make it special for him and not, butcher it. But too many people involved with things. Look at the offense. I mean, last year there was not a clear delineation of who was in charge, whose offense was it, who was calling, who wanted that play to be called at that time. Like, that's a problem. You bring in Kellen Moore, an experienced offensive coordinator, and the only experience we've gotten where Sirianni's been heavily involved in the offense and heavily involved with the day-to-day, sure, if he wants to point at the screen and say, hey, this is something that we could do, there's a concept that we've had that worked before. Back when I was at Mount Union, this worked. Fine. He can have his input there. But in terms of day-to-day control of the offense, I'm fine with the experienced offensive coordinator who's had success in this league having his hands all over that. Flip to the defensive side, that's not even a question. Fangio, you go run your thing. To me, this is ideal. If you wanted to keep him, this is the ideal way to keep him. Where, hey, man, not that you're chief vibes officer, but, you have your football input, but you stay a little bit further away than having your hands all over everything. You now get to really oversee and take a good, long look at this team and put your input where you feel it's necessary instead of being so hands-on.
I think the key to what you said was if you were going to keep him, this is the best way to use him. Is that what you think? 610-632-0975. I think we can almost all agree that we've come to the conclusion of how Nick Sirianni is going to do his job as head coach. It's overseer, CEO, senior advisor to the coordinators, as Ray put it, all great labels. Are you okay with that? Or is this gross mismanagement by Howie and Jeffrey Lurie in that, okay, you were bringing in two new coordinators anyway. Why didn't you get somebody else that might have a bigger part in the football mind of it if this indeed is what Nick Sirianni is going to be doing? 610-632-0975. Love to hear what you think about what Nick Sirianni is doing there and if you're okay with it. Father Sean on the cell wants to check in. Father Sean, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Father?
Hey, Bob. How you doing? How you doing, Ray?
Doing great. Thanks so much for calling.
Hey, listen, you guys are touching on a topic. I was just up at a school mass, and I'm coming back, and I heard this breaking down the press conference and all. And, there's another – I don't know if you guys already went over this because I just tuned in a little while ago. When they were interviewing Jalen, they kind of – I forget who the reporter was, but they even asked Jalen, about Sirianni, and, he had to pause for a while, to kind of react to how to answer the question. I think he was trying to answer the question nicely and everything, but it was, basically, well, what's Nick doing or something along those lines, and, he kind of had – it took him, 7 or 8 seconds to respond and all that kind of thing. So I think that in of itself speaks to a little bit, what is Nick's role?
Yeah.
First of all. Secondly, in terms of your question regarding is this the right thing, I think it's a little bit of both, Bob, because I think they knew that they made a mistake in moving Patricia up. I do not believe that was Nick's decision. I think probably Howie's look, that's kind of my bad. Let's stick because I think and plus the fact that they had just been to the Super Bowl the year before. They had just gotten rid of Doug a few years ago. They didn't want to have to be that team that's getting rid of coaches every year.
Right.
So I think on one hand, it might be the best possible solution for where they're at. But on the other hand, it's they sort of had to do it to save face, so they were kind of stuck. I think they've worked out. I think they've worked out a good solution for it, but it's still not the ideal. But I mean, yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
All right, Father Sean, appreciate it. Try not to work too hard this weekend. Look, I think it's easy that we've all come to the conclusion that pretty much he is the overseer of this organization. It's probably not the coach type of description that many of us are used to, or maybe that some of us want. But you always have to move a step past of where you are. I think we've gotten to the step of agreeing on Nick Sirianni doesn't have his hands in on play calling that much on either side of the ball. Are you okay with where he is? Now, the team decided to keep him. Ray made a good point. Well, if they were going to keep him, this is a good place for him to be. Where do you stand on it? Maybe you're a thinker of they shouldn't have kept him in the first place if this is what they were going to make of him. Let us know what you feel. 610-632-0975. You can call us or send a text to that also. Ray, I think what are you laughing about?
YouTube chat, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you can share. We love our YouTube people. What are they saying?
They're going after Josh, so
they're going after Josh. No, we got a minute here before we got a break. We can fully share this. Now, Josh Safran is sitting in the producer's chair today for Ray, who's sitting in the co-host chair today. So, what is this about Josh that they are saying?
Father Sean calling him because the producer has to go to confession with that mustache.
All right.
Took him long enough.
Hey, they're coming after your mustache. I'm not the mustache man getting ripped today, so that's nice.
Yeah, is that
Permanent?
only because I don't know you all that much? I didn't know, you didn't lose a bet, or it wasn't like your girlfriend said I like you better with a mustache. Or
That's exactly what it is, Bob. My girlfriend said I like you better with a mustache.
Oh, is that right?
It started as a joke in the pandemic, and I'm not
How
allowed to
bad
shave
do you
it
look
again.
without a mustache?
Pretty bad, Bob. You don't want to
I'm
find
teasing you,
out.
buddy. You know I'm teasing you. Oh, people on the YouTube page, you gotta love them. I saw they were getting up on me because I got my words mixed up earlier. I meant to say, am I nuts or am I off my rocker? And it came out, am I off my nuts? And that's not what I meant at all. So I'm sure we'll hear that at some point today, probably around 1:30. Yeah. All right, we got some more Eagles talk going in. Obviously, we want to talk Phillies because when you're the best team in baseball right now, although the Yankees eclipsed them last night for best record only because they have a game in hand and they won that game, you have to talk about them. I'm looking so forward to this London series. I can't wait. I can't wait to wake up on Sunday morning, bright, beautiful day, do something. I don't know. It's a birthday week at my house for our son, so maybe it's I get up and make a huge breakfast and we eat outside and watch the game outside, Ray. I'm thinking something like that. Maybe there's some mimosas going on.
Ooh.
That would be a good thing, right?
That'd be a good thing.
Yeah.
Love me a good mimosa.
I'll have to check in with the boss a little bit later and see what she has to say. So anything you want to talk about, but this Nick Sirianni thing I think is interesting because I always want to kind of try to look ahead on things. And I think we reached the point of agreeing that Nick Sirianni is the overseer of this organization right now. Not like the all-involved coach that maybe a lot of us think a coach should be, but an overseer. We've all reached that conclusion. Are you okay with it? Are you okay with how things are moving forward? Do you think they should move forward or should have moved forward differently? 610-632-0975. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, 11:30 here on Middays. We take you up to the best show ever at 2 o'clock with Tyrone, Ricky, and Silvana. I was just looking at something on Twitter, Ray, and it raised a question I wanted to ask you with all the weirdness that is surrounding you.
Yeah.
That is you, I should say. That makes up you.
Correct.
I just saw
Never been normal.
pictures of yeah. Do you have a daily routine as far as meals go?
No.
Not like, oh, yeah, I have them. Like, I mean, do you
No.
say, oh, on Fridays I get this, whatever? No?
No. Sunday nights I usually go to the same place. But yeah, overall pretty much no. Now there's like my Sunday's pretty routine. Everything else is kind of out of whack.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the Sunday? Like, is it a nice, I'm not specifics, but like a nice dinner on Sunday you go and get, or?
Yeah, I mean, I go to a nice place and
Treat yourself?
yeah, I
a
treat
bit?
myself a little bit. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
usually.
good.
Yeah, Sunday night baseball. Well, have a
Oh,
little-
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
So
it's a
it's-
summer thing. It's more than that. Like that's the only
Yeah, it's
thing.
tough in the winter.
I don't have a real structure. Yeah, hard to watch Sunday night baseball in the winter, but not really a structure guy when it comes to the meals. That's probably why I don't eat a ton.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
All
I
right.
guess in the morning here, I've got structure. I go get a bagel pretty much
'Cause
every morning.
You do, and a coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's a little bit, but
That's a little,
yeah,
little
the
bit of a
reason I
routine.
asked you is because I just saw something on Twitter that was showing a pizza, and
Oh,
we
that's
we pretty much do pizza every Friday.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, with the family, whoever's there. You know, it depends how many pizzas, how many's going to be there, whatever. I do. I kind of crave. It's the fun part. I love, and I'm being selfish. I do love my Fridays. I love getting home. I love hanging at home on Fridays. I love that we go out and get pizza. I might have a beer with the pizza, whatever. Like, it's just, no, I do. I love the Fridays, and I love getting in the car to get the pizza and turning on the station and finding out who's on at different times or what we got going on. But, you know, and then I have my shows on Friday night, as you know, at 10 o'clock, and that's, you know, my Blue Blood show.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes,
I do.
yes.
I'm a fan of that. I have been for like, God, it's probably close to 20 years. But I on Fridays now, I around 11 o'clock, I start craving, I can't wait to eat pizza tonight.
I mean, I get those cravings for where I go Sunday when I'm sitting here doing the show on Sunday. I get around 5 something. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I could really go for a nice cold beverage and whatever I'm going to order off of their appetizer menu. You know, like it's. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah,
I just don't have the
never
structure.
had cravings before. You don't have, no. And
Yeah.
I was trying to think like when I was your age if I had, but when I didn't really have a routine. Well, no, I don't think I did either.
Nah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's
the
not
good
a
part
very-
of being 24.
Yeah, it's not really a routine-based time in your life.
No, it's not. All right, Father Sean gave us a call before we went to our last break, and he was talking about Jalen Hurts when he was asked something about. You cool with this, Josh? All right, when he was asked something about Nick Sirianni, how there was a pause. I don't know if I caught up on it yesterday because I didn't have it in my notes as he was speaking, but the work of Ray Dunn and Brendan Petrilli have gotten it together for us. So let's go to that now, Josh.
What have you noticed about, Nick being open-minded to change up the offense like he has? I mean, what does that say about him?
I mean, it's a great question. I don't know that I know the answer to it.
Well, what have you seen? What have you seen from him as far as doing that?
I think he's just, he's been great and, the messages he's delivering to the team. He's trying to be very intentional in what he's saying. And yeah.
Wow. That's wow. I didn't, and now that was Martin Frank that answered the questions there. His nickname for me is Pepitone. He and I always called each other Pepitone for some unknown reason. I don't even know the origin of it, but I'm surprised I didn't catch that yesterday. That's pretty damning. That's pretty much like Kellen and I are doing all the work here. I don't know what to tell you about him. Father Sean hit this on the head. Do you think it's damning? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
I cringed. And I don't know if it's him trying to be intentional with his words and, like, not wanting to create a story out of what he says, but by doing that, he did kind of create
But he was being honest, I think.
Yeah,
Because he
but I don't
started
know.
to answer, and then he chuckled. And it was like, I can't give you
Well,
the
that's
real
what-
answer of, he doesn't do anything.
He uncomfortable. Any question he gets where he's uncomfortable to give an answer, he chuckles. I think that's just his kind of like nervous thing. Like we all have something that we all kind of fall back on when we're like, ah.
And the other nervous thing was, that's a great question. That's how you buy yourself time.
Right. And the thing is, like, and that's the reason it made me cringe is if they say, what does it say about him? My default would just be, well, good on him for accepting his role and for, all the work that we're putting in together. Nick wants this team to be great. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a real cliche answer you could throw out there that's a nothing burger that can move the conversation along. That I wish I heard it out of him a little bit?
But it does give you the answer. Right? I mean, it couldn't have given you the answer any more than if he said, what has Nick done? Oh, nothing. No, it's just Kellen and I. It's Kellen's offense. I'm the one that's going to be running the offense. Like, Nick, no, it's us. It's not him anymore. I mean, that's what that reeked to me.
Yeah. It was an uncomfortable, like, I cringed in there listening to it. Because it was an uncomfortable, like, response of basically going back to exactly what it said. What have you noticed about Nick being open-minded to change up the offense like he has? What does that say about him? I mean, that's a great question. I don't know that I know the answer to it.
Like, he doesn't do anything.
What does it say? Like, what does it say about him? Just, it says he's willing to do whatever to help the team win.
We're all in this together. It's a collaborative effort. Blah, blah, blah. There's plenty could have said.
Yeah, I don't blame Hurts if he looks around like, oh my, how this guy's still sticking around type of thing. I'll be honest. I wouldn't blame him for that. At some point, he has to move past that to the whole, like, hey, he's here, and, we got to just put kumbaya, even if there's not a ton of kumbaya.
Now, I'll be like the naive. I don't think it's that. I don't know if they're like, butting heads. And some people on Twitter are kind of like, yeah, there's no relationship, or they're doing each other disservice. But, okay, the question needs to be asked then. If that is the case, that there really is no working relationship, let's call it, because of those words, that there's really
no work. Like, I think that's
limited,
extreme jump to it.
Okay.
Do you think that? How much does he value the Sirianni input? Like, he's also the one that we got 95% from. Sirianni was saying tweaks 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't think it's like, well, five alarm fire here. Like, red alert. This is a disaster. It's just not. Like, when you start, and this is what we do in June, like, we read way too much into things that are said. Just listening to that answer made me cringe a little bit. And then on top of that, I look back at the little differences in what they've been saying. And it's like, Sirianni, I think, in his second presser, pretty much put himself in the place of, I'm not really involved.
Yeah.
First one made it sound like he had a little bit more to do with it. Second one made it sound like, this is Kellen Moore's show. And Hurts made it seem very clearly like, this is Kellen Moore's show. And I don't really have an answer to what it says about Nick Sirianni that he's not involved with the offense.
Exactly. Now, somebody on YouTube is like, what did you want him to do? Rip him, or did you expect him to rip him? That's not the avenue we're really going down.
No,
here.
I didn't.
I really
prefer
not.
He didn't rip him. I'm glad he didn't rip him. Like, let's in the
right
grand scheme of answers he could have given.
I wasn't even looking for rip. I was looking for him to say, he doesn't do anything for our offense. That's not a rip. I mean,
if he had said that, I think it would have been bad.
Let me rephrase. If he said, it's a collaborative effort, but it's Kellen's offense, and I'm the one running the offense. So obviously, most of the communication is between Kellen and myself. And, Nick Sirianni is – now, you wouldn't jump to the next part that I'm going to say, but you say, and Nick is there also to help us all get this new offense together. It just seems more and more to me that did Kellen Moore come in and did one of these things happen? Kellen Moore comes in and says – well, if you have me as the offensive coordinator, it's my offense. And the higher up said, that's what we want. That's absolutely what we want. And he walked in and to the old playbook, just boom, and threw it aside, like ripped it up. That's it. And Nick Sirianni said, ooh, on that play where you have the X guy running this route and the Y guy running that route, I really like that. That's cool. I think we did that one time at Mount Union. Like, I'm not making fun. I think it's becoming blatantly obvious that Nick Sirianni isn't doing an awful lot here.
Oh, yeah. It is blatantly obvious.
Okay.
I think overall it's pretty blatantly obvious. And I don't even know if it's so much Kellen Moore said, I want control of the offense if you make me the offensive coordinator. I think
They went to him and said,
yeah, I mean, I think ultimately when Brian Johnson's gone, you're looking for a new offensive coordinator and you're retaining Nick. I think if you're going through, all right, what do we need to check the boxes of the guy we get next? I think it was who fits the bill for us, and Kellen Moore fit the bill of what they were looking for more than it was anything like, I'm coming in and I demand this. I think they demand that of whoever they were going to hire. Because, again, a lot of coaches from last year not here. Not just coordinators.
Right.
Throughout the coaching staff. A lot of Nick guys not here. Nick Sirianni, still here.
So that's the question I want to put out to you. It's becoming blatantly obvious and has been. I think we've all reached the point, as I said earlier. Are you okay knowing all this information now, and I think us having to come to the realization of it, are you okay that Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman decided to keep Nick Sirianni? If this is indeed what his job description is, are you okay with that? Because, hey, look, if you bring in an offensive coordinator that you really like and you give full reign to, I have no problem with that. If you bring in a defensive coordinator that you really like and you want to give pretty much full reign to, I'm okay with that too. But then I would at least want to have a head coach who is giving you something somewhere. Is the description of Nick Sirianni's head coaching job like keep the players happy, keep your coordinators happy, and if you see anything, let somebody know?
Yeah, coach, because you're a coach, but make sure that you keep this, the train on the tracks here.
Okay, so are you okay with that? 610-632-0975. We're talking about this. It's becoming blatantly obvious of what's going on. Are you okay that even though they were going to bring in Kellen Moore and they brought in Vic Fangio, that they decided to keep Nick Sirianni where he is? Now, look, there's two arguments to this. One, well, sure, you have to have a head coach. You got the coordinators you wanted. What more do you want them to do? Okay, but there are also other head coaches that could have been had that maybe could have lent something more to this organization than what it appears maybe that Nick Sirianni is going to do, or maybe could have done it better. What do you think on this? 610-632-0975. As I've always said, and I said it in the newspaper business when I was doing that, I will never call for anybody's job. I would never, ever go out and say he needs to lose his job. I would say I think the organization might take that job away from him because of such and such. I'll never come out and say somebody needs to lose a job, and I'm not saying that, obviously, about Nick Sirianni. But where do you stand on all this? Should the Eagles have handled this differently during the offseason? Are you okay with what Nick Sirianni is going to do with this organization this year now that it's becoming more clear? This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, hope you're having a great Friday as we're having some fun here on the Midday Show today. Got into a little serious conversation, which we're going to get back to, talking about some of the things said yesterday by Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. But right now, we have a good friend of ours who is over in London checking out the Philly series, checking out all London has to offer. Our buddy and roommate of one Ray Dunn, Zach, is on the line. Zach, how you doing today, buddy?
What's up, Bob? Great to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are things going over there? First of all, we need you to set the scene for us. Where are you staying? When did you get over there? Kind of like a little synopsis of what's going on with you guys.
For sure. So we are staying not too far from a place called Waterloo, by the, not too far from the Eye, not too far from Passion Gav Bar itself. We were just there probably about an hour ago. Flew in on Tuesday. We left at 8:55 Eastern time, Philly time, Tuesday evening, and probably got checked into the hotel about 1:45 on Wednesday afternoon.
Oof.
So it was a good, a little bit over 12 hours worth of travel, but we had a great time, and I'm confident to say your guys are not having as good as a time as I am over here right now. I'll be very honest in saying that. It is fantastic over here right now.
Well, I am stuck with Ray, as you know, Zach, so that is one of the hindrances that we
Try
have.
living with them. Try living with them. Come on.
Yeah, right?
All right. A lot of things going on there right now. I have to ask, we've seen Rob Thompson out at the bar. Who's been the biggest Philadelphia sports figure that you've run into so far?
Yeah, so physically ran into was Matt Stairs. We were walking, right, we got off the London Eye, and we were walking, towards the direction of the bar, and I saw Matt Stairs walking up, kind of had to approach him, had to, walk behind him a little bit, had to form the confidence to say hello, but nicest guy in the world. Stopped, took a picture, thanked him for 08. So physically ran into Matt Stairs, and I was told last night we missed Garrett Stubbs at a little pub over in Piccadilly Circus area by about 5 minutes. He was there. Someone saw him, told him he played for the Phillies. It's actually funny. It was a group from Georgia, and I was wearing a shirt, and they recognized, from the Philly area, asked if I would know who it was, and the description she gave me was a shorter player with dark hair. And I was like, all right, let's try Garrett Stubbs. So we put up the photo. It was immediately, she recognized him. So missed him by a couple minutes, but Matt Stairs and almost Garrett Stubbs, good company to be in for sure.
So, Zach, do you know, is the team staying around you? Is everything kind of walking distance where everybody is? And also, have you seen a whole bunch of Phillies red? Like, I've been on the road plenty of times to, Phillies stuff going on, Eagles stuff going on. When we take over a town.
No, for sure. And, Bob, I'll be honest, it's about 90% Philadelphia in this town, or Phillies fans in general. I mean, I think I've seen maybe 4 or 5 Mets fans, and I'm not even exaggerating. Just, saw a couple at Buckingham Palace this morning for the changing of the guard. Saw a couple last night walking around that Piccadilly Circus area, like I said. So absolutely a Phillies town right now. It's unbelievable to see. We even had a Kelly Green Kelsey jersey on yesterday over by the Tower Bridge that we were going on. So Philly has taken over, and it's really awesome to see.
What's the camaraderie like? Is it like pretty much all of you milling about? Have you taken over Philadelphia, and how are the Londoners adjusting to Philadelphia being there?
So that's kind of the weird part. That's kind of what I kind of wanted to talk about too. Like, I would expect, like being in that Philadelphia area, a lot of things come through there, whether it's WrestleMania, concerts, NCAA tournaments at the link, what have you, and there's always signage, there's always postage around. And I'll be honest with you, there is, not one sign, billboard, poster. I mean, we have all these double-decker red buses. Like, I thought I would see something, right? And I didn't. We haven't been seeing anything. The only thing we saw was as we were leaving the Tower of London yesterday, they were kind of, politely escorting us out a little bit quicker than usual. And we knew something was going on. And I think it was Greg Murphy posted on Instagram, saw a few photos that he had, and it showed that they were actually at the Tower of London. So they're around. But ultimately, everybody sees everybody in the street. We kind of get the vibe. There was a guy walking with the City Connect jersey and the big Fanatic hat that hangs down off the ears. And they actually, it was funny. We were walking past them, and the guy asked, what's with the hat? What's with all the Philly stuff? So some of the locals don't even know what's happening right now, and I think that's something we can try to, the more Philly fans, the more exposure this game gets, and hopefully what we do to the Mets this weekend, we make a lot of Philly fans out of these Londoners over here.
So, Zach, are you going to one or both of the games, and how far is the stadium from where you guys are located?
Yeah, so I'm going to both games. Very excited about that. We jumped on the pre-sale code back in, I want to say, late December, early January when that dropped. And going to both. The stadium is they're playing in a London Stadium is the name of it.
Right.
And from where we are, it's about a 40-minute train ride. So similar to, any big city, you can get anywhere here. They call it the Tube. By the Tube, the subway, the trains, the buses, anywhere. So we've taken one Uber because the Tube that was running at the time ran a little late, and we needed to get to our tour this morning. But it's been really cool just kind of diving into the city and getting used to what a local does, right? Like hop on every stop and things like that. So we'll be heading out about 3 o'clock London time tomorrow to get there around 4. And I know it's a little bit earlier for you guys, but it's a 6:10 first pitch over here tomorrow.
So what's the talk of the town, really? Is it like Mets hate? Is it celebrating how great this start has been? People upset that they're getting subjected to Taiwan Walker on Sunday? Like, what is the talk of the town? These fans right now out there, what's everybody, conversing about?
Well, I think we were just grateful we didn't have a Turnbull Taiwan weekend. You know what I mean? I haven't seen anything crazy recently, but do you guys? Is there any updates over there on Rangers? He good to go?
Well, they're saying he's starting, so you're going to at least get
Rangers.
Right.
Rangers to go.
Rangers to go. Fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, I really just think we're happy to be here. I really think it is. Like, people are coming from all over. I'm sure Philadelphia area, Pennsylvania, Jersey, Delaware, however vast that Phillies fandom stretches. But, everybody's over here is having a great time. And the pints are going down way too easy. I think that's the problem we're all experiencing right now.
All right, well, Zach, let me ask you about that because I've never been over to London. And, I've been to plenty of bars where I can go up and order whatever I want, and I'm not going to be looked at with a crooked eye. Is it different over there? Are the pubs different? Or are you just rolling up and saying, yeah, give me a Corona or give me a Bud Light, whatever it is? Is it any different over there in the pubs?
Yeah, so I have seen a bottle of Corona. We saw that last night. I have not seen a Miller Lite other than the Passyunk Ave bar that we were just at about an hour ago. No Bud Light other than, like I said, that one bar, no Miller Lite. Guinness is over here doing some Moretti's, which is, I believe, an Italian beer over here that's popular. So we're bouncing around. The bartenders are great. We're asking them suggestions. We're just seeing IPAs, things like that. So you have a vast stretch of on that bar counter and everything like that. So I don't think you would be looked at sideways, but I maybe wouldn't ask for a Twisted Tea or a Surfside or anything like that. I don't know if they would have them over here. All pints and like I said, the one thing about it is you get it, you tap immediately. If you're thinking about coming to London, I don't have any reason to tell you not to, but don't try to bring so much pounds or cash or euros, whatever you want to bring over here. It is all electronic, so it's dangerous. You just tap the card and you're gone. So
mix in a water, Zach. Yeah. Come on,
come on, Ray. But yeah, so no, we're having a great time, and I'm super excited. I feel like we've had a heck of a trip so far, and we haven't even gotten to the games yet. So I hear there's some activations going on tonight. Not too far away from us, so we're going to try to check them out after dinner. And then, like I said, try to get to the stadium about an hour and a half, 2 hours early tomorrow, check out, what's going on there. Honestly, like I said, I really have not seen Mets fans. And, all joking aside, the stadium is separated right down the middle behind home plate. The third base line is going to be the Phillies. First base line is going to be the Mets. And I am very curious to see who the heck shows up on that first base line and where they're coming from because, like I said, even if they are Mets fans, they're not proud of it 2-3 days before the game like many of these Phillies fans are right now.
Zach, we really appreciate you taking some time to check in with us. I would tell you to go and have some fun, but I can tell you've already had your quota and you're going to overdo your quota. So keep it up. Have a great time. And if you want to check in on Monday, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Can't thank you guys enough. Go Phils, and wish you guys the best. Thanks so much.
Don't forget to get something for your roommate also on your.
Oh, we got something already.
good for you.
Come
You're
on.
a good man, Zach.
I'm going to take care of Ray.
All right, well, don't forget the guy he works with here. All right, Zach, you take it easy, buddy. Thanks so much. We will talk to you soon. Always good to hear from somebody out there having the fun. Seems like a really good dude, right?
Yeah, they're having a lot of fun. Who
did he go with?
He's out there with his girlfriend and then
Oh,
a couple of our other friends. I think it's 3 couples that are running around. I'm looking at Josh because I think Josh also knows. But I think, they're running around. And, they've had some fun.
Terrific. It sounds like it, and they're going to keep going, and that's just great. Good, clean fun. All right, when we get back, we do want to go back to what we were talking about a little bit because we have pulled some sound from earlier this spring that kind of makes you wonder about some of the stuff we've already thrown out there about Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll do all that, a whole lot more. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. time on this Friday as you get ready for what's supposed to be, I have to tell Ray, it's going to be really nice this weekend, weather-wise. It's supposed to be, in the 80s like you normally is in June, just like you said.
Well, my parents said
sun's going to be
nice.
out. Yeah, so sun's going to be out, so, however you do that.
I'm already packed. So
yeah, you're packed for the store. Yeah. Is there always a hooded sweatshirt in there?
Usually, yeah. I don't think I did this weekend because my parents said that it was going to be nice. So I was like, oh, good. And I'll just
So do you think they go out of their way to let you know what the weather's going to be like because they know your ignorance of the weather?
It's society, Bob.
Well, your parents
you do.
This just in, Ray. A couple of things. Your parents had sex, and they are part of society, Ray.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Bob.
You're welcome.
Grateful for you to bring that up.
I am a parental figure, aren't I?
Yeah, you are.
Uh-huh.
Which, never mind. But
Scary.
what I'm saying...
I hear you.
No, I just meant, like, age-wise. But when we start rolling into this conversation, society does it. Everyone does the weather thing, which allows me to ride off of all of your coattails. So thank you. One less thing I got to do every day.
We have a moratorium on this show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You could say...
I'm just reminding you.
You can talk about my parents in that way, but I can't call you old.
Oh, now you're calling me old?
That's
What
what
do
the
you
joke
talk about
was.
your parents in this way?
You know what you said?
It's like a lifelong joke that guess what?
It is.
Yes, your
and
parents.
it's a lifelong joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why that right to you being demeaning to me.
I'm not being demeaning.
I think you were.
I was calling you wise. Experienced.
Yeah. Okay. All right. One of the things we were talking about. Well, first of all, we had a few texts. We put just a fun thought out there about if you had a Philadelphia athlete currently that you could get together with, go have a beer with, just, shoot the breeze, who would it be? Josh, we got a couple of texts on that.
Yeah, we got Brian from Warminster checking in. He says, I'd love to grab a beer with Castellanos. He's one of the more interesting characters on the Phillies and would surely be fascinating over a couple pops.
I think you would have to force conversation out of him. I don't know.
I don't know
think
if he'd want to go out with us.
Yeah, I think strangers, forget what we do for a living or anything like that, but I think he's more the type that opens up with people he trusts and not strangers, maybe.
Yeah.
He seems a little guarded, which is fine. That's
fine.
okay. What else we got?
We got nameless texter here, not an athlete. They want to get a beer with Howie Roseman.
Interesting. I don't know. Made me yawn, to tell you the truth.
I think that was the natural response that we would all get. Howie, appreciate the work you do for the Birds. He's not my, if I had, a top 25.
Well, if Nameless was talking about, I want to go out to pick his brain, that's a good brain to pick in the city. If you're going to be, investigative journalists like Josh and be like, what was the reasoning behind not taking Justin Jefferson and all of that stuff?
That's a cup of coffee for me. I'll get a cup of coffee with
that's
someone
a press
to learn
conference
about
for me.
them. Yeah, I'll get a cup of coffee if I want to ask you questions about your life. If I'm having a beer with you, I want to have a good time. Sorry, Howie, on that one.
Yeah, I don't. Howie's not in my top 10. What else we got, Josh? Anything on?
Yeah, we got a response to the Nick Sirianni kind of debate. Are you okay with him being the CEO type coach? And Scott from West Philly checks in. He says, Nick Sirianni's new title. And it's a gif of Dwight Schrute saying assistant to the regional manager.
Very good. Interesting. But that's the conversation we're having now. And we'd love for you to join in. 610-632-0975. We played a couple of clips for you earlier from yesterday's press conference with Jalen Hurts, with Nick Sirianni. What we played was really interesting in that Martin Frank asked Jalen Hurts, well, how exactly is Nick Sirianni helping you with this new offense? And he, paused and chuckled and kind of said, it's a great question. That's basically what the answer was. Nick Sirianni was asked about this whole new offense and what he's doing, and he's like, yeah, I'm kind of at 30,000 feet overlooking everything. Okay, what my point was, we've come to the conclusion that's what Nick Sirianni is doing. He is not our typical head coach, has a finger on everything, is involved in this, involved in that. It's more of an overlooker. The question is, are you okay with it? Because if that was decided this offseason by Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, should they, in your mind, have gone out and gotten somebody else to be the overseer who maybe was, air quotes here, more qualified, better at it, maybe more of an NFL person? I don't know. I'd love to hear what you have to say on it. 610-632-0975. But Josh, who is sitting in producing today, Josh Safran, who did a marvelous job. He goes, hey, I have some sound from May, Kellen Moore, that you might want to hear. Go ahead and play that for us, Josh, so we can react to that.
Our real focus here as we've gone through this process is, we got a lot of good going on, and we can't lose the good and the reps that, Jalen and AJ have developed and Dallas has developed, this offensive line have developed, and how can we build off of those things and really connect the whole thing. And so that's been a really fun process. There'll be tweaks, there'll be changes. Everything's constantly evolving. That's part of this whole offseason program.
So what I heard was, yeah, we're going to look at how they run their routes and how they play and all that stuff and build the offense off of that. We'll make tweaks to what they used to do offensively. Yesterday, Jalen Hurts said that it's 95% a new offense. Did those tweaks just get like he wanted to tweak, if I'm not reading too much in it, he wanted to tweak the offense that was some of the offense that was here, but now it's 95% different. Do you think Kellen Moore came in and looked at the offense that was in place and said, no, I ain't tweaking anything. Get it the hell out of here?
So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think one of the things that we probably overrate from the outside is how similar concepts may be, but they're definitely changing everything over because, again, communication seemed like a problem last year. So it might be what Sirianni might see as a tweak of oh yeah, we've run that concept before. That's a design that I'm familiar with, or something that's been in our something we schemed up before, but it's now called something different. Now the idea of it is slightly changed. That could account for some of the 95% to the defense of Sirianni to start this. But overall, yeah, I think it's more than just some tweaks. I think ultimately it's quite a bit more tn just some tweaks.
Now I heard. I forget which show it was, and I forget who it was, but talking about a lot of motion going on, a lot of different things looking in this offense. We know that Kellen Moore is very much a motion offense type of guy, where last year Nick Sirianni said, motion for what? For the sake of motioning?
Yeah.
You really start to wonder, don't you? I mean, the things... I'm not saying that evidence is building up against Nick Sirianni. And as I said before, I wouldn't have fired him after last year. I don't think I would have because of what was on the resume. Whatever it was he was doing, it meant a 14-3 season. It meant 3 straight appearances in the playoffs. It did mean a 10-1 start, although we saw how that, ultimately played out. But gosh, there does seem to be evidence building against Nick Sirianni and what's going on.
Now, is this evidence building against him, or is this just confirmation of the evidence already supplied?
That's a great point. That's like the reasonable chair over there. You're starting to sound like me a little bit. That's a great point.
Thank you. Every once in a while,
what do you think it is?
I think this is just confirmation.
Okay.
Ultimately, I think a lot of what we're searching for this offseason is confirmation of the suspicions we had about last season right now.
When do you think Nick Sirianni was doing his most work? And I'll put that in air quote, most work. Most hands-on on this football team, when do you think it was?
Ooh.
Because I think I have my answer, and I'll give you mine first. I think it was his first 7 games as head coach, and they were 2-5. Because that's when he said...
That's kinder than the answer I had.
Oh, is it really?
Yes. I think he thought, and this goes back to the way they viewed themselves last year, and why I think that the Niners loss, really started to undo them at the seams. I think they had doubt about who they were, and there was doubt in that building about what they were at that 10-1 start. And that's been, I think, well documented by just a number of reporters with I remember the most miserable 10-1 team. I think it was Tim McManus that used the phrase teetering to talk about that locker room. I think when there was doubt in that room, Sirianni overcorrected to try and grab hold of what was going on, and I think that's probably when he had his most hands on. I think that to me, as they were having mentioned too many cooks in the kitchen there, I think he was trying to reach his hands in a whole lot of different places. It seemed like when you have no answers, when you're fumbling around for answers, it probably means that you're really, really searching. And part of really searching would be grabbing at just about everything to see if you could find the fix. And I think that, to me, is probably when he had his most hands-on.
All right, we have one of our YouTubers, Neil Deaver. Sirianni is basically doing what Rob Thompson does. Maintain a good locker room, keep it light during the tough times, stuff like that. Fair?
No. Different sports. Like
he has a hand on every day.
Rob Thompson isn't like go call the home run play. You know, like
yeah.
I think you're comparing coaches across sports for that one. I can't say that the Thompson role is similar to the Sirianni role.
Not in the coaching aspect of it. I think maybe what Neil's saying is maybe one of their best assets is keeping it light, relationship with players. Maybe that's one of their best assets. That's what they have in common.
I haven't seen Thompson's team crumple to the point where we were questioning whether or not the locker room was lost. So I don't know if it's an asset.
A good point. Yeah.
He's still around because it's good business to have him around.
Because of past success.
Because
could you not have had that success with a more NFL, lack of a better term, worthy football guy at that position? Like, was there other names out there? Could you have brought somebody in that's like, okay, here's the job description, sir. We have our offensive coordinator who's going to call all the plays. We have our defensive coordinator who's totally in charge of the defense and everybody else, whatever. We need you to come in and kind of, 30,000 feet and all that there. That's right now the description for Nick Sirianni's job. Was there during this summer or during this offseason a better candidate for that? I don't mean, should that have been something the Eagles thought about, and did they?
I mean, I think they definitely thought about it. I think the idea that he was safe the entire time is misguided.
Okay. Yeah, and you've said that all along.
Yeah, I don't think he was safe the entire time at all. I'm sorry. I don't think you just call the greatest coach in the history of the sport to catch up and see if he's doing okay.
Okay. Well, then why didn't that happen? Now, look, we're just throwing out questions to try to figure this all out. We are not determining, this was ridiculous. I'm not doing that. At least that's not my agenda today. I'm honestly asking questions, figuring things out, going the next step of, look, Nick Sirianni seems to be saying I'm the CEO. Okay, that's fine. We all get there. Is that the best choice that the organization made?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, and ultimately they went down this path because I think they thought that it was good enough business where, okay, they're not going to do this one more time. And on top of that, there's enough in this room. Like, they had to talk to everyone. Like, I imagine the conversation spanned across the entire organization. The fact that they're not going to make like a gut call, that doesn't sound like that. Like, their gut might have told them one thing. They went, talked to all these people. All right, fine. Sirianni's got enough support within this locker room, enough support within this organization where we can reimagine his role with this team and we can still make it work. Here's what we have to do to make that work. And this is what they came up to. I think that's the way this ended up working out. I'm going to have my questions about him until I start to see anything. I'm going to have my questions about him all offseason. Like,
sure.
What I've had answered this week is that our suspicions about his role are pretty much confirmed. And hey, listen, maybe he is just the best guy for the vibe in there. Maybe what he's doing is so impactful for this team, just not on the field.
Well, Jalen Hurts talked yesterday about the new coaches and stuff like that and how it's kind of being handled right now in these Mandy mini camps.
No, I'm not. But I think bigger picture football, a lot of things are similar, right? Like everybody, you can look on the internet and see, okay, well, these guys are running this play or whatever. But, you never know what that player is being coached to do. You never know how they're being taught to do it, how to execute it. And so that's exactly what makes it different. The X's and O's, the lines on the paper, they may very well be what they're supposed to be. But how I coach and how I detail these routes, how I coach the quarterback, what I want his timing to be, where I want him looking, where I want his eyes. Are receivers reading routes? Are they not reading routes? Are there alerts on this? Are there checks and adjustments built in on this? Or is it something that, someone has to do, the quarterback has to do. That's what makes a system a system.
Does that sound like he is learning something new? All those things that he labeled out, is that just normal quarterback talk? Because, checkouts and reads and all that and routes and all, that's common football. But do you think Jalen Hurts, when he was speaking right there, what he spoke about, was specifically saying, and this is what Kellen Moore is now teaching me?
Something unique. Not something new, something unique.
Okay.
What does this coach want me to do? What does this coach call it? What is he looking for out of me, and what is different about this offense? I don't think it's something necessarily new, but it's something different than before. Like, there are new concepts going to be put in there, but I don't think it's so drastic that, like, Sirianni had. I think what Sirianni, like, there's things that Sirianni probably wanted done a certain way that are going to be done differently by Kellen Moore. They're going to be done differently in this offense, and you hope it's just better that way. But I can't imagine that it was so elementary, so high school, that it was like, oh yeah, no, this stuff never happened before here, in Philadelphia. I think that's just more him highlighting a lot of the differences that may be happening right now.
It does. You made a great point that we're just confirming what we suspected maybe is what's happening. I brought up, like, is this kind of getting evidence against? My mind goes back. I brought up the first 7 games when Nick Sirianni was calling the plays, and they were 2-5 to begin with, and you had Jason Kelce on the sideline raising his arms, like, what are we doing here? I wonder. I really am starting to wonder exactly about all this. Maybe you have some thoughts on it. 610-632-0975. I want to tell you the 12 o'clock hour. It's brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirst.hvac.com. All right, a lot of interesting talk on the Eagles today. I want to dive a little bit more into the Phillies. I also have a question for you. And I couldn't come up with a clear-cut answer. I'm wondering if you guys may have one. Another fun Friday question. I'll give that to you when we get back. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, 12:30-ish here on Middays, joined by Ray Dunn as he sits in the co-host chair today. He let it be known earlier today. I thought it a little strange. I think many agreed with me, but he did his own little poll about Ray does not check the weather. He relies on other people. He relies on his eyes. He doesn't dress accordingly. He just assumes, well, it's January. I'm going to have to put on heavy clothes. Well, it's June. I'm going to wear shorts. That's his assumption. That's what he goes by, and he lives by it. However, Josh, we got a text on this, I believe. Someone texted us at 610-632-0975 about this very subject.
Yeah, and it's not going the direction you might expect, Bob. We got Jake in Venice, Florida. He says he's
a friend of Ray's.
Yeah, he says, I gotta say, I'm with Ray, just not a weather guy.
You
It's
live
June.
in Venice, Florida. It's 80 and sunny every damn day.
That's what he says. He says it's June. It's going to be hot. That's it.
Yeah,
Great
you're in
point.
Florida. It's going to be hot in January, February, March, April, May also.
It's a great point. I gotta
You don't
give
know what
Jake
the weather's
credit.
going to be here all the time, though. That's different than what Jake said.
I got a pretty good guess. Today I walked outside, short sleeves was a good call. Tomorrow when I walk outside, short sleeves, probably going to be a good call. If it rains, I'll take cover.
All right. I hope it does rain on you.
I did put out a poll on my own Twitter just to see where people are at.
Yeah, where did that go? I'm sure it went in your favor also.
Do you check the weather every day was the first poll I put out, and then I put up a follow-up poll. 68% of people saying yes, they check the weather every day. This is a small sample size. I don't have a huge following on the old Bird app. And then 32% of people saying no, they don't check the weather every day. In an even smaller sample size, the 20 votes I've gotten so far for do you ever check the weather? 100% of people saying yes. So
How many?
100%
Of how many?
20 people.
20 for 20 say they
do check the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do see that you're strange.
I knew that before I talked about the weather here. Petrelli says he's with me, by the way.
He dresses the same. He wears shorts and flip-flops like in January.
All right.
So, yeah, we can tell he doesn't check the weather.
That's fine. Someone's going to tell him, hey, man, it might snow. And then he'll know, all right. Probably to stay inside.
All right. We've been talking also about Nick Sirianni before I get to my question for you for the 12:30-ish time. We were talking about Nick Sirianni, and we've come to the realization. We've all, pretty much been told one way or the other that he is the overseer. We got a text on this, Josh?
Yeah, we got a nameless texter kind of coming to Sirianni's defense. He says he or she. It's absurd to talk about firing a coach that is off to as good of a record as Sirianni has since he's gotten here. He has frustrated this texter, but he's also gotten positive results, and he deserves some credit as the coach for that record. As a fan base, we are getting a bit greedy if we are talking about firing a successful, well-liked coach.
Well, just first off, we have to clarify, we did not talk at all about firing Nick Sirianni. I said before, I'm never going to ask for anybody's job. I will talk to what I think the organization might do as far as the coach goes, so on and so forth. I am on the side of I would not, if I was the Eagles organization, have fired Nick Sirianni after last season. Yes, because of the success that he's had previously. What's his name? Andrew has said that he would have.
Yes.
Where do you sit on it?
I would have.
You would have.
Yes. Can we get checked area code on that one?
Check the area code on what?
I don't know. I don't know. Is Colarulo checking in from his honeymoon?
We got it's a 203. It's a Connecticut number, if that helps.
Nah, never mind. I just want to make sure.
Wow.
Bill, listen, that's an argument I've heard Bill make. So I want to make sure. Maybe it was a Colarulo, little check-in. I want to make sure he's enjoying the honeymoon. I don't want him defending Sirianni. You think he's defending Sirianni while he's out there?
Probably. You don't usually see a coaching jersey, but I could see an Eagles jersey on Bill's back with Coach Sirianni.
HC
maybe
on
with
the back?
Something
Sirianni
like
HC?
that. Yeah. Or maybe instead of the bird, the picture of the bird, the Eagles bird on front, it would be Nick Sirianni's head, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Visor, maybe.
A little pandering, much like his idol.
Huh.
Idol.
Could be.
Sports idol, let's call it.
Yeah.
All right.
His favorite.
Yeah.
His
all right.
favorite.
All right, I was sitting around last night, and I'm switching back and forth between the Dallas Mavericks game and the Boston Celtics, which got to be a blowout for most of the game. And, so your interest starts, not that my interest waned, but I do click over to something else during commercials in a game that I'm not, really in love with. So I'm watching a softball game, the Women's College Softball World Series, and the University of Oklahoma wins their fourth straight World Series, and I start to think of domination. And I text my sister, and I say, wow, this is really impressive to watch this. She is a huge softball fan, has been to the Women's World Series numerous times. And she's like, yeah, no, I'd rather see somebody else win. So it got me to thinking about dominance. Who's the most dominating player in sports right now? And this is going to be a two-part question. In your guys' eyes right now in sports, I guess we can expand it everywhere. Because I remember talking about this back in the day and getting a million answers on it. And it was really cool. And I think the one that won out at the time was Serena Williams as the most dominating player in sports at the time. Who do you think it is right now? Because I kind of struggle. Obviously, we're going to have two or three off the top of our heads. But who do you have, Ray?
Mahomes.
That's who I think mine was. Does it surprise you that a football quarterback, look, was Tom Brady the most dominant? Yeah, he was winning Super Bowls all the time, probably. But he was also in an era of when Tiger Woods was doing it and all that. Patrick Mahomes is a good answer. Is that by far above anybody else, you think?
That's just the first one that comes to my mind.
Okay.
Dominating. I mean, Mahomes right now, the run that they're on, also who he's throwing to at this point, like he's hit another existence of being, I think, in terms of the quarterback position. When we have a tough time putting anyone even near his class, I think that shows you the dominance right now.
Okay.
I think the number one quarterback in the NFL is solidified, and then the drop-off between 1 and 2 is considerable.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that. How about you, John? Does somebody come to your mind right away when I ask you who's the most dominating person in all of sports right now?
Yeah, so right now, I think it has to be Mahomes. But a year from now, if he is healthy and can pitch, I would say Shohei Ohtani because he can do it on both sides.
Ooh. That's a pretty good answer.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, now his batting average is going down a little bit, but he's hitting incredibly well right now for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I also wanted to bring it up because I think in years past, we probably had more of a boom answer like this is definitely it. I think this is kind of a wide open race. I don't know there's anybody in basketball that I would go with. Football, you guys stated. Hockey, Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I mean, I think that's a good answer.
It'd be a fine answer.
Scotty Scheffler, golf at all?
Now, that's who I was going to go with. I was going to say, going into the individual sports, and another reason it came up, I turned the golf on yesterday, and Scheffler was in the lead when he finished. And my wife looked at the TV, and she goes, oh, my God, does he lead every tournament that he plays? Like, Scotty Scheffler's not a bad answer.
No, it's
either.
not a bad answer. I think, to continue my case here for Mahomes real quick, when we talked earlier this week about Jalen Hurts and about quarterbacks in the NFC, someone brought up the point, well, most of the good quarterbacks are in the AFC.
Right.
The dude runs the conference where most of his best contemporaries reside.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. That is a great point. So it leads to my next question. And it goes along with, I don't know, Scotty Scheffler, Tiger Woods, Patrick Mahomes and all. Do you like to watch domination? If there was like back in the day, Mike Tyson, you guys are a little too young for this, but when Mike Tyson came up and he was knocking people out within seconds. And it was like you turned on the TV and you had to have it on in plenty of time because you might miss it, that Mike Tyson was just beating people so badly. Tiger Woods back in the day, beating people so badly. When Tom Brady was with the Patriots, winning Super Bowls all the time. Do you like watching domination, or would you rather see more parity?
I think it's case by case for me.
Is it? Okay.
The people really, like, it becomes who I'm rooting for.
So a Tiger Woods run, let's go on that. A Tiger Woods run like he was on years ago, and I think you caught a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, I was young, but yeah, I was in on it.
Like, if you have a guy like that in a sport maybe that's not your number one sport, not your top four, which for a lot of people golf isn't, but it's something that you enjoy watching, does that draw you more towards it?
Golf, yes. A dominant golfer, yes.
Really?
Yes, I think a dominant golfer running the field is like, oh, who this weekend is going to give you the opportunity to actually contend with this guy? I think a dominant golfer, like, I think the whole, like, golf after, like, Tiger's prime, that's been, like, the biggest thing. Everyone's like, oh, who's going to try and match something like that? Because it captivates you. It captivates you to watch every week, like, going into this, oh, I expect this guy to win. Is there anyone that's going to give this guy a run for his money? Like to me, dominance in golf is everything. Like the guy that's at the top of the lead every time, which is why Scheffler's become something of an interest to me, because it's like another one of like, ooh, is this going to be the next star? Is this going to be someone that they're chasing for years?
Yeah.
Of like, oh, coming into this weekend, who's going to give Scheffler the best shot? That to me is incredibly intriguing in that specific sport. So by that case, yes, I will root for dominance because I love the idea of someone just kind of running the field in that sport specifically.
Is it the individuality of it? Do you think it plays a big part?
It might be the individual sports where it's more like, because I think with the individual sports, they become a brand unto themselves like a team. Like, am I watching the Patriots winning? Like the Patriots. Patriots were a ton of things. You had the similar characters in there, but, obviously with a 53-man roster, you're going to change everything out. You become the brand like the team when you're just the individual dominating like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the individual I like because it's all on you, so I like rooting for the all on you versus the all on team.
Now, I've been lucky during my lifetime when it comes to sports, when it comes to domination. Now, obviously, Tiger Woods saw all that. The Mike Tyson early part of it was the likes of which you rarely saw in boxing, and I went through an era of boxing when it was absolutely spectacular. Wayne Gretzky, I still say, was the most dominant athlete in his sport in my lifetime. With the records that he put up and the way his teams won, it was just unbelievable. So I've been really lucky in the fact that I've seen domination there. Now, Brendan Petrilli puts up the Splash Brothers, Curry and Thompson, awesome. Were they dominant?
Yeah,
I guess so. Since you won
4 rings.
Yeah. You had Kevin Durant with that group also, but Steph Curry, if you had to go to the dominating player, I guess it would be Steph Curry.
Yeah, I'll say I was rooting for them in 2022. When they won their most recent finals, the post-Durant finals, I was rooting for them in that one.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, again, I think it helps it was the Celtics, right, on the other side, but like I did
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, but it wasn't one of those like, oh, I'm going to be subjected to the Warriors winning again or the Celtics. It's like, no, I legitimately wanted the Warriors to win again.
It just popped into my mind. That's so weird. And I talk about this person all the time. Could Caitlin Clark be in the conversation?
For college basketball, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If we were to have this conversation before she went to the WNBA?
I mean, I get, championship means something.
Yeah, good point.
If you're talking about, like, domination in the sport, I mean, doesn't South Carolina have a better claim to fame on that one? They've lost one game over the last 2 seasons.
Dawn Staley?
Well, I mean, yeah,
that's a different read. Yeah, that's kind of different.
You're going coach there. If we're going athlete here, like it just ends up being like the dominating brand there.
This is good. So 2 people checked in and said Simone Biles. That's another great answer. Yeah, that's probably the right answer. She probably is the most dominating in sports and has been in sports for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go down like the Olympic mind in my head of like who else has been at that level.
Yeah, because back in the day when I did it, it was like Michael Phelps.
Right, Michael Phelps. Yep.
Who's the? I got some. Who's the skateboard dude?
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk was an answer that I got when I asked this years ago. It's a cool question, I think, because they're dominating that sport, and who is doing it the best? Simone Biles very well could be the answer. Interesting. I just like to throw out some fun little interesting questions about once in a while, especially on Fridays, just to get the wheels turning. As we
I appreciate
say, right?
that, especially the last hour and a half of the show. I need the wheels to turn. Sometimes the wheels come to a screeching halt.
Yes, and they are going to right now. So we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll talk more Phillies, more Eagles, any fun stuff you want to talk about. But we might even go back to some of the sound bites that we went through earlier, just to kind of put a wrap on this whole Eagles thing, and maybe some new sound that we haven't heard yet. 610-632-0975. If you want to check in on anything and everything that we've been talking about today, this is Midday Shows. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back as we get towards the 1 o'clock hour. Just had our great conversation as we do every day behind the scenes with Tyrone Johnson. Stay tuned for him, Ricky Batalico, Silvana. They'll be joining you at 2 o'clock. We will get you through until then. I just threw out like a fun little question, and Tyrone had a lot of thought on it also coming in here. It stems from this. It was like 12, 13, somewhere right around there, when I was covering the Sixers, and I was up in Toronto, and woke up that morning to put on the equivalent of SportsCenter up there, TSN, to, just catch up. And it was all Wayne Gretzky all the time. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Turns out it was Gretzky's 50th birthday or something, so they're doing the tribute thing. So it got me to thinking as I'm walking over to the arena to Sixers shoot-around that morning. I went to every player, and I said, hey, got a question for you. Individually, who's the most dominating athlete of your lifetime? Went up to every single player and asked it and got all sorts of different answers and all that. Just something fun that we did. Went back to my hotel, wrote some stories, whatever. Went to the arena that night. You get there. I used to get there around, for a 7 o'clock game, I'd get there around 4 o'clock. I get there, and Elton Brand, as I'm walking in, pulls me aside. He was on the team at the time. He goes, yo, BC, got a question for you. Now, your question, was it most dominating player? Was it? And I'm like, EB, I was just throwing something. He goes, no, because we've all been talking about it. And so it was really wide-ranging, and we had a lot of fun with it. So I put it out there now. Who's your most dominating athlete now? We had a variety of answers. I brought up the name Caitlin Clark, and Tyrone came in and said, you can't say her in college basketball. She wasn't dominant. I was just talking about, now. But Ty brought up some great things about how she didn't win a championship, and he's exactly right on that one. So domination has to include that success also. But Josh, you say we have a few texts on this?
Yeah, we got a bunch of texts, and none of these answers are from one of the 4 major sports.
I think that's what makes this fun. But go ahead and give them, and then let's see what we have to say.
So we had another Simone Biles. We had Max Verstappen in F1. Not too familiar there, and you two fellas,
I
know, right? And I looked at each other.
I drive to work. I don't drive to survive.
I'll take their word for it. Novak Djokovic had a couple people say that, even though he just got outed. But 24 Grand Slam wins, I want to say.
Djokovic is good, and that it's a real good one. Did he just suffer the injury? Was it him?
Yeah.
Yeah, Djokovic suffered the injury where I think he tore his meniscus, and over race head on that one. Sorry, but that's okay. All right, what else we got?
So the last one here that a few people text in that I have a problem with. Leo Messi. And I wonder how dominant you could be. It would be like, Bob, if you went to Temple and you were the best writer Temple had, and Leo Messi comes to MLS and he's dominant, is that impressive?
Is he the most dominant soccer player right now?
In America, yeah.
Wait, Major League Soccer. I mean, it's not to downplay his accomplishments of his career, but at this point, I don't know. I mean, I feel like he'll be great on a curve. I think when we get to the phenomenon here, stateside, it's different than the phenomenon that he was, Barcelona and times before in his international play.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to take away from the dominance, but I don't know if I would go most dominant. At this point, you make the move to Miami now. Yeah, I'll probably say no.
You say no to that one?
No.
Yeah, I lean towards that way. Also, I don't know. We talked to Jim Curtin. We follow the Union. We love the MLS. Do we, stats-wise, is he crazy? The reason the answer in my lifetime for Wayne Gretzky is it's astronomical, the stuff that he did. If you take away all of his goals in the NHL, he's still the all-time leading scorer just by assists. And he was that dominant, and his teams were that good. And people say, oh, he's surrounded by a bunch of Hall of Famers. I'll go out on a limb and say I'll bet you he made some of those guys Hall of Famers. So let's break it down even a little more fun here, Ray. Who's the most dominant Eagle?
Right now?
Yeah.
I guess I would probably Lane Johnson.
Ooh, good answer. I like it a lot. I have a different one in my mind. How about you, Josh?
I'm deciding between two. Ultimately, I'm going to go A.J. Brown. When he plays his best, he's dominant.
That's the one I was going to say, but Lane Johnson is a great answer. I think we know who the most dominant Sixer is. Who's the most
I
dominant
really
Philly?
do like Paul Reed. Most dominant Philly right now, numbers wise, this season. Do you want it to be
Don't
the same
say
answer?
it.
I can say it.
He
I
only
can say
plays
it.
every 5 days. Can you be dominant?
Yes.
When you only play every
He's
5
dominated
days?
everyone this year. He's got a sub-2 ERA. The guy's been win almost every game he pitches.
He's one of 4 pitchers on that team that's in the top 6 in ERA.
He's the top.
He's
He's the one.
I can't go for a pitcher being most dominant.
What do you mean you can't go for a pitcher being most dominant? The numbers he has right now are the numbers that the last pitcher who won him an MVP won them with.
I'm looking at you delayed on YouTube. You're crazy, man.
I am.
Calm down.
I'm right.
Josh,
Why
most
are you
dominant
booing
Philly.
me? I'm right.
I'm kind of with Ray here.
That's
and,
right.
And look, I might go Zach Wheeler. I mean, just take your pick. I understand the anti-pitcher, but think about it here. When the pitcher is on the mound, they control the whole game. That makes them dominant. When you're hitting, you only get to hit once every 9 turns.
That was one of the sillier things you've ever said.
What-
When
what
you're
do you
hitting, you only
mean?
get to hit once every 9 turns.
Yeah, he faces every single batter. The batter that comes up only comes up, 4 or 5 times a game?
Look, I'm fine with your Ranger Suarez answer, but now you guys are going off the rail a little bit.
No, think about this legitimately. Ranger Suarez, if he pitches 7 innings, he has to record 21 outs, right? Okay, so he gets 21 outs. If he goes perfectly, he faces 21 batters.
Okay.
If he doesn't, he'll face like 25, 27 batters
Uh-huh.
in a week. That batter that gets up 4 or 5 times a game and plays 5 or 6 games a week gets up to bat 30 times. The number of at-bats you impact per week are probably pretty similar.
Okay. All right.
That's what he's laying out for you.
8
there.
innings of shutout baseball or 2 for 4 with a home run and a double. What's more dominant?
All right. If I go through a week and get like 14 hits and, I'm out there for 5 games, 6, 7 games a week, and you're out for 1, I think you have more of a chance of being dominant doing that.
Yeah, I guess the pitcher can only ensure you 1 victory. But like when you're talking about a pitcher that's going 7 innings,
You make a good argument. I'll
yeah,
give it
I'm
to
just
you.
saying, like the numbers wise, like you downplay the.
Do you have any problem if you were a voter for, not to interrupt you, if you were a voter for MVP in the league, would it ever come to your head like, I don't know if I can vote a pitcher MVP? Simply because they play 33 games compared to 150 of a shortstop, first baseman, outfielder, whatever.
He went 30 games with a 1.7 something ERA, and his team ended up winning like 90% of his starts. Yeah, I'd be okay with voting him MVP.
Because there are people that legitimately, say, look, I would never vote for a pitcher.
Well,
for
it
MVP
takes an
because
exceptional circumstance.
Right,
Like 1.75 ERA. Like I go back to the Kershaw numbers in 2014 when he won.
Yeah,
it was a 1.7 something ERA, and the Dodgers just didn't lose games he started. Like
right.
It was
and
like,
it was the opposite with DeGrom when he won it with the Mets,
right?
Yeah,
when he won Cy Young, it was like that we don't even count.
Yeah, it was 9-8 or something like that, right? Yeah. So a lot of interesting conversation we got going on. Some people are starting to check in with us. So hold the line. We'll get to you as soon as we get back because there's a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Also, coming up at 1:30, don't forget, it's our last week report. Ray seems like he is loaded for bear today, so I must have had a horrible week. All this and a whole lot more. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. 1 o'clock hours, we take you through to the best show ever and get you ready for the weekend. That's right, because it's coming. Ray is already chair dancing for the first time today. I think he's very happy with the work he compiled during the break, which you'll be able to hear at 1:30, because that's when we will do our last week report. 1 o'clock hour, it's brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. Your dancing looks even better on the YouTube page.
Thank you. I've been sold.
I just called it up, and yeah, you look really good there.
I appreciate
Very proud of you.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say.
Yeah, so yesterday some of the Eagles spoke after their Mandy Minis, as we like to call them here at the station. So we've been talking about what Nick Sirianni had to say, what Jalen Hurts had to say. Sean in West Philly wants to talk to us about the Eagles and maybe the Sixers also. Sean, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, buddy?
Yes, sir. How you guys doing today?
Doing great. How about you?
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely liking my Eagle team right now. I'm liking the things they doing. So we fixing the holes in the defense, because that's what Philly was known for. All the years we was known for defense. In the last few years, we fell off of that. So I'm happy getting back to trying to fix that side of the football.
All right, Sean, let me just ask you. Let's have a conversation on this, because I have a lot of concerns on that side of the ball. You're happy with the fix, I'll put that in air quotes, of the linebackers?
Well, linebacker always been a problem. I don't know why the Eagles never go after that, but other parts of this game, they're fixing. Like the corners and the safeties, they getting better with that. And keeping them, because we always rotate anyway. So when you don't really need no dominant player, because we always rotate anyway. So we just need stability at them points.
All right. They did go out and get people, and in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Hopefully, have two guys that you can plug in there.
And they still young.
Yeah, Keely Ringo, you're right. Yeah, Keely Ringo's been impressive too. People have said that we're out at.
And the gentleman, before I know you guys got I gotta go soon, but the gentleman that we just brought in, that was the gambler. They saying this guy is like top
Rogers, the gambler. That's good, Sean.
Gambler, yeah, the top notch. So it's like, I mean, I feel like we fixing that side of the football a little bit. Like, because last year, there's no way in the world we lost to Tampa Bay. Like, really, a friend of mine yesterday told me that he think the Eagles be through the season after. I'm like, that didn't make sense to me, but. I'm like, I don't understand that, but the defense, we wasn't stopping nobody. So it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know about that. But anyway, the Sixers, oh my goodness. What are we going to do? Like, I have no confidence in the 76ers organization about what they're going to do this year as far as bringing in talent over the years, because we always making bad decisions. And then you look at the other teams, that the players that still should be here, and we let them go.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Sean, thanks so much for the call. Really appreciate it. I said it earlier this week. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how you fix this Sixers team. And Sean said, yeah, you get guys, but you always get the wrong guys. Did they come here and they were the wrong guys? I think the problem is how do you build around Joel Embiid? And I don't think they've figured it out. And, I'm watching a game last night, and, they're going to bring Kristaps Porzingis off the bench. Oh, Hal Horford's going to start? Oh, my God, look at him. He's playing really well, and he's doing the things you need to do. Why 5 years ago an Al Horford could not fit here is beyond me. When you had Jimmy Butler and J.J. Redick and Joel Embiid and a Tobias Harris and a Ben Simmons that were playing well at the time, they couldn't figure out how to beat the Toronto Raptors. You have tried to put together the best teams you can, and it hasn't worked. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to say, yeah, I know how. Go get LeBron, I think would be cool. I think that improves your team. Anytime you put one of the best players of all time who's still playing at a very high level on your team, how can it not help your team? Is it Paul George? Is it Jimmy Butler? Is it you try to make a trade and get a Markkanen in here? I'm just telling you, I'm being totally honest when I say, and I'm not giving up, but I'm just saying I don't know.
I don't think you're giving up. I don't think any of us should give up on this one. The idea, I don't know, I think goes into a lot of the uncertainty of the roster here right now. Like, you just have so much to replace. You literally have nobody right now. Like, you have your two guys, and then, all right, if you want to add the fact that Paul Reed and Ricky Council can be here this season, you basically have four players. That's a lot of flexibility. That's a lot of unknown. We all see pieces that we want or ideas of what we want. The point guard. A guard for me that's a little more defensive-minded is something of a must with this team. The reason I'm not as, I would say, far down the path with you of the I don't know with building with Embiid, is because I do feel like we've now watched 6 of his 7 playoff runs with one guy, and in 5 of those playoff runs, he was a max guy, and that matters in terms of team building, how much you can spend. I think if you have a higher-end wing with him that you legitimately can count on for the offense to flow through when Embiid's off the floor, that answers a lot of questions for you. And I think that also comes to a bit of the conversation we get into when we start talking about the way we should build. A lot of people are like dead set on we got to fix the backup center. And I'm cool. If they want to go out and get another backup center, that's great. I think the problem with the team when Embiid's off the floor is not so much who the backup center is, but how they run the offense and how they actually go about putting the basketball in the hoop. That to me is more the issue than Paul Reed or, fill in backup center here. Do you have enough to keep the engine while Embiid's off the floor? Because we can, there's fault to be had with Embiid in some of these postseason runs where they haven't succeeded. But there has been a common theme when he's off the floor, and that you're a disaster.
Yeah.
Just point blank disaster. And different running mates have had different problems. Ben Simmons, there was a way to guard him because of the limitations his game had. And he could distribute the basketball, but there was a way that you could work to slow down just with Ben Simmons on the floor. You look at James Harden. He was his own issue onto himself. There were games where he didn't need Joel Embiid. He'd go out there and drop 40, game 1 against the Celtics. Perfect example.
Right.
There's other games where, the variance in performance. So, the reason things haven't worked in the past have to do with Embiid, but also have to do with some of the limitations of the roster. I do think that if you put a high-level scoring wing alongside a wing that can be a high-level scorer alongside Embiid, Maxey, that's your best, path forward, because that's something that I just think they've lacked because they've had one of their max slots taken up by a guy that ultimately didn't have the ceiling of someone that could help take this team over the top.
Yeah, and it's funny, watching that Boston team last night. And look, we know you have to get, I'll put in air quotes, star players and the type of players that you just mentioned, Ray, and all that. But it's also hitting on things. Now, yes, they hit on Maxey, and he has rising to become the second best player on this team, rising to become a superstar in the league. Great, you can't deny that. But you watch Boston bring guys like Hauser off the bench and Pritchard off the bench, and at times, Cornette had to come off the bench and give him some minutes. You look at Dallas and some of the guys that they come off, and you're looking and you're saying, "Wow, where did he come from? That's pretty good." They just don't get that. They haven't had that. And Isaiah Joe's a perfect example. I'm sorry, if Boston had him or something, they wouldn't have let his ass go, and he would have been a big contributor off the bench and done really good things. With the Sixers, it seems like, oh, yeah, we'll see. Is that a good guy? I don't know. Well, we can use him to get a trade. And then all of a sudden that guy's going off on other places and doing really nice things.
Yeah, I thought about this when Sean was talking. They have made so many bad moves. And they have. But is it almost the idea they haven't made enough good, we haven't seen enough good to outweigh the bad? Because we look at the other executives in town and other executives across the league, they've all made bad moves. The course correction has been what's
comes with the job.
Yeah, the course correction's been what's worked out. There was a reason why years ago people in this town wanted Howie fired. I think there's some contracts right now that Dave Dombrowski signed that people don't love yet. We're giving him a ton of credit for what he did. The course correction is where it comes from, and I gotta say, we get upset with they didn't do enough to put to be around whatever. I think some of the moves they made this year actually finding Oubre. Give them credit for that one. Giving Oubre the opportunity. All right, that one. Bringing in Campaign, making that trade. The Campaign trade, to me, was one that was better for you. That ended up was a player that you ended up playing a good amount in the postseason, gave you a good jolt off the bench.
Yeah, but ultimately what?
Right, but ultimately the way it ends. And I do think that's why when I come to, I don't think I'm as down on this team this offseason as a lot of the fan base is because of, I think a lot of people do the last 7 years. We haven't gotten past here. We haven't, they've made this mistake. They made that mistake. A number of different people have made a number of different mistakes for this team. I think they've done a decent enough job. Bring in Melton to this team. They've done a decent enough job. There's been pieces that I see potential with that can work with this team. It hasn't all lined up together, but I do think they have at least a good enough idea of identifying talent where I'm not totally like, oh, they can't do it. Now, the Isaiah Joe one still hurts. That still hurts. But like overall, I think there's a corner to be turned with this organization.
But even the guys you brought up, it's funny. Like, they're probably going to lose. We talked to Keith Pompey yesterday, who, he's in. He mentioned the 3 names of Oubre, Batum, and Lowry as 3 guys possibly coming back. Keith isn't just saying this off the top of his head.
Right.
In Nick Batum, all right, 35, 36-year-old, like, we know what that is. And Kyle Lowry, 39-year-old, we know what that is. Maybe you found something in Oubre, but there's a good chance that he's not coming back. And is that a luck thing? Like, well, nobody else is taking him. Let's give him a try. Oh, wow, it works. See you later. Bye. You know what I mean?
I guess, but what, the Celtics get Horford back after the Thunder time, and I don't know if a lot of people were sitting here clamoring for Al Horford after his time in Philadelphia and his time in OKC. Is that a luck thing?
No, I think it's a Boston thing. I think they make it work.
Then didn't they make it work with Kelly Oubre? That he ended up looking better than he has?
Al Horford's making it work for years up there in Boston.
I guess he's making it work again there.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Like, he's that old and he plays his role that well. Okay, Batum came here. I think he thought his career was over. They might actually extend his career by a year from what he expected. And he found a role that I thought he was pretty good at.
I liked him. I liked what he did. I'm talking about, though, I don't want to say sustainability, but these other organizations seem to find these guys at the more right time. And for
you can't argue the Celtics have been, like, the Sixers been as successful as you can't argue that. Like, I'm not telling you they've been successful, but I think, I think their luck, like, if we want to talk luck for an organization, Sixers have had some horrible run of it. Like sometimes, like, lucking into this guy, finding this guy, like, they have not identified talent at the level of sustainability that some other organizations have. I'm not looking for sustainability at that point. We've talked about this before.
Right.
5 years ago, sustained winner. Now, give me one shot. I want one parade. That's it. I'm not looking for this, the continuity conversation. That's dead to me. I wish they could find some continuity around this. 5 years ago, that's what I would have wanted. Now, I just want the best shot next season and probably the season after that to win. Like, ultimately, watching the Celtics continue to get past you and continue to compete for a championship has been brutal. Good for them on finding sustainable pieces. The sustainability conversation, I think, is done with the Sixers, right? I mean, how much longer do you think you build a contender for this stretch?
Yeah. How would you have played defense against Ben Simmons?
Probably the way a lot drop and just slowly trying to work your way into passing lanes. And okay, if you're going to run at me, run at me. I mean, I think I'm dropping my defense back. Like, I'm having the guy on the ball. There's a better, like, him getting past me and making something happen is going to be an issue for him. Him having no pressure outside of the three-point arc, there's no shot. I'm going to give him pressure out there because I think he'll get a step past me 1,000 times out of 1,000.
Let me ask you something. You can pick any NBA team you want and say, all right, I want this guy. Back when Ben Simmons was playing well, I'm playing for the Sixers, whatever. And I said, okay, Ray, you're my best defensive player to cover. I'm going to have you cover him, but I'm going to have you stay back, like in the foul line and maybe back even further and pop out because you don't want defensive 3 seconds. Do you think there's a lot, if any, guys in the NBA that if you gave Ben Simmons the ball at half court and said, dribble as hard as you can at your defender, make a move around him and go in for a layup, that many could stop him back then?
Not a ton, no.
No. I never understood why the Sixers didn't run that offense once in a while.
Are we going to question the Sixers' will to get to the bucket or Ben Simmons?
No, I honest to God, I don't think they ran it enough. I don't. When you saw Ben Simmons get a full head of steam and go after anybody, and I had this discussion with my friends back in the day when it was happening. I'm sorry, you run a 1-4 offensive set, there ain't nobody was stopping that guy with a full head of steam from half court going at the basket. There was just so many different things that played into it.
I think the other end of it, Ben Simmons attacking the bucket. What's another good chance that happens to him?
Well, later on, our last memory is of him going up.
No, not the pass. there's a good chance he gets fouled.
Oh yeah.
Is he, in his mind, is the best thing happening here on this possession me going 1 for 2 at the free throw line?
I always thought that could have improved. Yeah. But that was without the will of him wanting to.
Right.
Also.
I mean, I think that's a combination of flaw there.
Sure.
Like, I think that's it's not all Ben, it's not all Sixers. Like, to try and go like black and white there of like, oh yeah, it's a total Sixers problem, it's a whole total Simmons problem. But I think part of him not attacking the bucket has to be the fact that he's not comfortable at the line.
Right. If there were some schematic things going through the years, I think we just mentioned them. Like, if there was two of the bigger ones that always pop into my head was one that, like, come on, I'm sorry. And Ben Simmons is a great athlete.
Yeah.
You could have improved his foul shooting. I am convinced of that.
They should have hired the guy in the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. That guy was telling him how to do it, but there's a guy in town that has been well known for his, Herbie McGee.
I think he offered his services at one point.
Well, that was to Evan Turner, I believe. Maybe he did.
I'm pretty sure.
You could be right.
Herb McGee.
Anyway, that's one of them. The other one is a name that we mentioned earlier. How they couldn't figure out pairing Al Horford with Joel Embiid is still one of my biggest somethings I'd like to go back to and sit down and say, there has to be a way to make this work. Still don't understand how they didn't. I think Herbie McGee did talk about Ben Simmons. Is it? You got it there?
NBC Sports Philadelphia. Guess who caught up with Herb McGee?
John Clark.
Amy Fadul.
Amy Fadul. We know her.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, she was on the best show ever once this week. I think.
She was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to read a quote or something like that. I didn't know.
No, I was just letting you know that Amy Fadul caught up with Hall of Fame basketball coach Herb McGee to talk about the development of Ben Simmons' shot this summer. That was a 2019 story.
Okay.
So,
all right. Very cool. All right. We talked earlier about Danny Hurley possibly going to the Los Angeles Lakers. They're meeting today, apparently. The brass of the Lakers is going to meet with Danny Hurley. It's going to be a lucrative contract that they offer him. Pretty much they're handing him the NBA world. Here you go, Danny. We'd love for you to be the head coach. He has built a program there at Connecticut, which is absolutely fascinating, really cool. Could be dominant. We're talking about domination. That one, they've won back-to-back. If he stays there, it could be, something that's really, really special, even still moving forward. I am of the belief, having watched the family, having watched his dad coach, watched all of the ways that Danny Hurley has built this Connecticut program, I am of the belief that he won't take the Lakers job, that he'll stay at Connecticut. If he does take that Lakers job, does that help the Sixers at all? In this way, is LeBron James going to be coached by Danny Hurley? And that's not a slight on Danny Hurley at all, and I am not saying that a little bit.
I took it the other way, actually.
A slight on LeBron?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm really not trying to slight anybody. I'm wondering if in his head that LeBron James goes, man, I don't know if I want to deal with this guy who is, look, Danny Hurley pours his heart into 40 minutes of college basketball each and every game. That's hard to do in an NBA season for 82 games and 48 minutes. Does it help? So my ultimate question is, does it help the Sixers that maybe LeBron's like, yeah, you know what? I do want out.
Is it healthy for Danny Hurley to be an NBA coach? 610.
We're looking out for Danny Hurley here in Philadelphia.
Danny Hurley, please consult your nearest doctor before you do this. I mean, I'm not going to lie and tell you I didn't have the creeping thought of, J.J. Redick's not going to be the coach of the Lakers? You mean podcast partner LeBron James isn't getting the head coach that I don't know if he wants, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind out there? I'm not going to pretend it doesn't matter to me. I thought about it. I thought the same way you did.
So you want Danny Hurley staying in Connecticut? Or you want Danny Hurley going to the Lakers?
If I could have my choice of anything, JJ gets insulted by the Danny Hurley thing, doesn't take the Lakers coaching job. JJ Redick being insulted by that insults LeBron. Hurley stays at Connecticut, and the Lakers end up with Darvin Ham for another year.
Oh my God.
They just bring him back. They just, you know what?
Where does LeBron end up?
Frank Vogel goes back.
Where does LeBron end up?
Maybe I'll see Frank Vogel this weekend. Big Wildwood guy.
You might.
I might.
Yeah. Went to Wildwood Catholic.
You did.
Yeah. Then junior out of college.
Yeah.
Before going to Kentucky.
That's right.
Way too much Frank Vogel. No,
you got plenty of. He's a local guy.
Yeah, good guy.
So, good guy.
Very, very good guy. Very nice guy.
But I
times
mean,
that I've gotten to talk to him.
Yeah, my dream scenario is not real, but it's pretty great. It's where neither Redick or Hurley end up their head coach, and LeBron ends up insulted by the Lakers.
All right, I'm down with that.
All right.
We'll see
Sounds
how
like we
that
solved
plays out.
everything today.
Yeah, we might hear something later on today with the Danny Hurley stuff. I can't imagine. Well, I can't say I can't imagine. I'd be surprised, A, if he made a decision as early as today, and B, I'm still going to stay on it. I think he's going to go back to Connecticut, but that's just an outsider looking in.
You pumping money into the boosters there? You trying to get...
Well, it's funny. Connecticut just signed Gino Auriemma this week to an extension.
Oh.
5 years, like $18.5 million, something like that.
You think somebody needs a little leverage up there in Connecticut? Back-to-back titles, and the man needs leverage to get a contract up there?
Hey, Gino's got a hell of a lot more than back-to-backs. He's got a wall full of titles up there.
Yeah, but there's another dynasty forming.
All right, when we get back, we're going to do it. I know, I'm going to become the GOAT of this. Not the greatest of all time, but just...
Oh, you are the GOAT of this.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to take a new avenue when we do last week report. I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to let you play it and run with it, and I will commend you for it. And that is on the advice of my wife.
What? Donna, what are you doing here?
No, because she thinks it sounds better when you do it by yourself because it's funnier than me trying to interject.
Oh.
And then you can't tell if I'm talking live or if it's me being taped from during the week. So we're going to try it a little bit different way, maybe a little faster moving. We'll do that and a whole lot more when we get back for the last half hour of the show. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. There were times when my kids were little and they'd get excited for something. It might be Christmas coming up or Halloween or something like that. And you just have to, like, for maybe a couple of days, be like, all right, calm down. The day will be here. It's okay. I am going through the same thing right now, Josh, because Ray is just like flying off the walls with this excitement to get the hell out of here and get down. Stop pounding pencils and pens and
It's a
flickering.
Sharpie, Bob.
Oh, my God. Like, I'm doing the show, and I hear through my headphones, click, 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 click. He's clicking his pen. I'm looking at him like, stop clicking your pen. I think the listeners can hear it. No, click, 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 click. He's bouncing off the walls to get down the shore. It's kind of fun to watch.
I'm excited. I'm going to get a nice beer, dinner with my dad. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, that's cool. Where are you going to do? You going to go out to dinner, or are you going to have dinner just together, or what?
I think we're going to go just up the street. Crest Tavern down there. We enjoy that place.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Your dad's a good guy.
Yeah. Big fan of the guy. I'm a little
both
biased.
Your parents are very
Yeah,
cool.
I'm biased. They're good people.
I've only had a beer like once with them in my life, though.
Yeah.
I look to expand on that
Yeah,
at some point.
I do expand on that.
Yeah. I'm just kind of delaying here.
We'll schedule it. I mean, we could get to it. It is 1:33, so we're 3 minutes behind when we usually do this.
Hey, I'm going to put my feet up. It's all yours, Ray.
All right. Well, let's do the segment, huh? So, we call this thing the Last Week Report. It is born from the last 2-minute report of the NBA. They hold the officials accountable for what they do well and what they do not do well in the last 2 minutes of games. We don't really do much well, so we're just holding ourselves accountable for what we don't do well. And Bob, this one starts with the beginning of the week. We began this week at the Brian Dawkins golf outing, and you were very excited to start the show. Almost too excited.
Pen Oaks Golf Club. This
That's right,
is
we are
97.5
here.
The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
We're so excited that we're here even earlier than we wanted to be.
So, sometimes in radio, you get a little overzealous coming back from break. You might talk over the show open, and then you learn from the mistake, right? Or maybe
Here is Bob Cooney on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
now you can go.
Okay.
There you
Welcome
go.
back, everybody.
You
and
just
thanks
hear your
for
name
joining
and-
us.
Bob heard his name. Second segment of the show. It's okay because we did hand motions the rest of that show to make sure Bob was fully on board with. I don't
just
like
gave
that
you a
hand
hand
motion at all, Bob. All right, that was all we had for Monday. I'll be honest. I started to enjoy the pageantry of the moment. If you made any other mistakes, you were bailed out because I think that my note sheet
How
was.
about we? I thought we were a team here. We.
Yes, correct. If Amy, myself, or Bob made any mistakes that day, they are lost to the record. But Tuesday, I was back in that studio, and I was listening to every word you had to say, Bob. And you were talking about what encapsulates this Phillies team. The word choice, non-existent.
Now, we know what they are. It's all encapsulated. Is that a word? Whatever.
Is that encapsulated a word? No. But we also had thoughts on Rhys Hoskins coming back, right? He's the one that hit the home run that elicited the response.
People are upset with the way other people reacted to Bryce Harper hitting a home run.
A lot of people in this town will cheer when Bryce Harper hits a home run. A little bit more of a conversation piece about Rhys Hoskins. Speaking of baseball, there was a player banned from it this week. Now, the issue is the team he played for before.
It just came out that Padres infielder Tucupita Marcano has, in fact, been banned for life from Major League Baseball for when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers last year.
Yeah, it would have been a bigger story if he went from the Steelers to the Padres than just him being banned for life. I'll have to say
Is there anybody else's name on that sheet?
Yeah,
just real quick?
I was about to say, this
Okay.
is, I made a mistake.
Oh, my God, you did?
Yep,
Or you
still
just
on-
decided to catch one of the many you made?
It's still on Tuesday.
Okay.
You watch yourself. I let some slide here.
Oh, did you know?
I did. I was talking about Hurts running, and I just don't know where I was going. Football. It gives them another
Dynamic.
I wanted to say dimension, was going to say dynamic, and it just didn't work. But not as egregious as on Wednesday when Bob was talking about retiring numbers and forgot one of the big three.
Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, and the other guy.
I take exception to that statement. A lot of it, actually. But it's okay, because I also made a mistake come Thursday talking about this Eagles team, some of the things going on with it during an update, and I couldn't have butchered the quarterback coach name better. shifted around under Kellen Moore. Also mentioned working with Moore and Doug Nussmeier. That'll be on last week report tomorrow. As so glad for the person that was updated for their sports through that update. They just didn't know what was going on there. I hardly know what was going on. That last hour, I'll be honest. If we wanted accountability, last hour yesterday could have been better. Chest pat, that's my bad.
Yeah.
But you also had a mistake yesterday when we were talking about Jalen Hurts working with Cam Jurgens and number of times that they would need to work under center. The word you used for number of times, you might have gotten a little mistaken.
I mean, I would think that was something they'd sit off to the side and just constantly practice.
Oh, you probably have had so many reputations there. Yeah, like he probably knows what kind of soap he uses on his hands. Wow.
Number of reputations
instead of repetitions, man.
And the one that the YouTube chat is long awaiting, anyone that was listening today, Bob, what did you mean by this?
It convinced me of something. Maybe it didn't you. Maybe I'm, off my nuts on this one. Now, all right, I was going to say off my rocker or maybe I'm nuts on this, and it came out off my nuts.
That's what we got. That's the last week report.
This is very good, Ray. Great job by you. So Ray's holding up a piece of paper, and it's got writing on the back of it, but on the front where he's reading from is his magic marker. I can look at it from behind, and all I see is Bob all the way down the sheet. Like, it's amazing. No, Amy was on with us for 3 days. Amy didn't make a mistake, Ray.
Even better, I didn't hear you say reputations yesterday. I got a text during the show from Amy with the timestamp for that mistake.
Oh.
So if you want to start getting Amy on this segment, you got to start paying better attention.
All right. Voodrew says Bob ain't got time to correct his words because he's too busy checking the weather.
It's a good point. It's a good point. If you stop checking the weather, you would have more time to correct yourself.
Okay. I'm going to have to start writing some, because there's many more violations by you during the week than you are either admitting or finding.
That's fair.
Okay. All right.
I don't like
put
listening to myself.
No, me neither. But, you make me do it at 1:30 every Friday.
Yeah, no, I know. But I think sometimes when I talk, I'm talking, but like in terms of registering the words, it becomes difficult. I know what I'm saying or trying to say.
Do you? Do you really, Ray?
No, I know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm saying. That's more where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I didn't have a job before where you had to talk an awful lot. You typed a lot. That's why I have carpal tunnel in both of my arms. But, there's a lot of talking that goes on.
Well, it's also
this job.
Is why it's disproportionately you.
I do the most talking.
Yeah. I mean, this was
Feel free, Ray. Feel free.
This was 8 to 10 in terms of 8 Bob Cooney cuts of the 10 cuts we had.
Hey, I'm hitting 80%.
Right. I mean, I think probably disproportionate. I don't think you do 80% of the talking, but I would say you do a strong percentage of the talking, which leads to this ended up being a strong percentage of the segment.
I agree, and a great job by you. I'm never going to put you down for it. I'm not above being mocked or however we want to put it.
No, we're mocking ourselves here.
Yeah, no, great job by you. Always appreciate when you do that.
No,
so by our count, what's that?
Don't lie to me.
Really appreciate you.
You look forward to 145 every Friday because that means that.
No, I don't care. I really don't. I think it's fun. I'll tell you, the best fun I had with it was the Friday I was off. And you guys had it. And my wife, I don't know if you heard this story, Josh. My wife and daughter said, "Oh, let's call up that section of the show today because we didn't hear it." Because I guess somebody said something on Twitter or whatever. So we sat there and played it to watch my daughter and my wife laugh so hard at me for the way Ray put it together. I thought it was terrific. So hopefully people get some laughs out of it. That's what it's all about.
I really do this segment for Donna and Jenna.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That is it. You don't want to do it. You just kind of have to do it.
Well, yeah, I do it for them specifically and the audience as well, but mostly the two of them. I like to envision the Cooney household just losing its mind at 1:30 every Friday.
Yeah, probably should. Yeah. So I put something out there early in the show. Andrew Salciunas said that he was running out of these offices today, going to pick up his son, head down to the shore to Brigantine, and head to the beach and have some fun down there. I told everybody, hey, if you see Andrew on the beach in Brigantine, go up to him and ask him for a beer. Say hi to him. Hey, Andrew, how you doing? Could use a beer. Because Andrew was going to take a cooler down to the beach with him. I wonder if anybody's done that. You think anybody like down in Brigantine was like, oh, okay, cool, I'll do that. Try to find Andrew Salciunas and grab a beer from him? If you heard me, if you wouldn't do that.
No.
See, I would, to have some fun. If I saw somebody who's listening to the station and they said, oh, and then I recognize Andrew, I would go over and say, hey, how you doing? My name's Bob. I heard them on the air today say that I should come over and ask you for a beer. I'd do it.
I'm trying to think of, like, what it would take for me seeing someone I know enjoying a day on the beach with their kid to walk up to them and be like, yo, man, you mind if I get one of your beers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just can't see myself ever pulling that one off.
Ever offer a beer to a stranger on the beach?
Yeah, I mean, if we get into a good conversation, not like at a random, not like, hey, man, you look like you're walking like you need a beer.
You're walking like you need a beer?
Right, that's what I mean. Like, how do you start that conversation?
This is a weird one. So we got a new tent for the beach one year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we sit down, I'm starting to put it up, and it's like a Tommy Bahama. It was a little complicated. I had practice in my backyard just for this moment. But we get to the beach, it ain't working. All of a sudden I hear, hey, you need some help? And I'm like, oh, thanks, man. And the guy goes, oh, are you Bob Cooney? And I was like, yeah. He's like, that's so weird. Like, I recognize your voice, but I didn't know what you look like, whatever. So it was nice, and the guy helped me put it up. So, yeah, I reached in the cooler, gave him and his buddy a couple beers because, all they had to do was go click, and it worked. But, yeah, I'm not against giving anybody.
Well, no, I don't think that's a random person.
I think somebody going over and saying, hey, Andrew, good to see you. I listened to you. I was told by your station to grab a beer out of your cooler. Do you mind?
See, my hope is that Andrew hears that person say, I appreciate listening to your station, I appreciate listening to you, and that his instinct is to offer up the beer.
Okay.
There's a certain level of entitlement, just assuming another man's going to give you the beer.
I know. I was just having fun.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you why I wouldn't do it.
I'll tell you my goal this summer is to have a beer on the beach with Ray Dunn.
I mean, that's pretty attainable. I'll say it.
I'm involved, too. I mean, I have to be able to get down there to you.
Right.
I know. So it's not as attainable as it seems.
We should take the show on the road.
That's an idea.
That's an idea.
Now that's an idea.
Now that's an idea.
I'm going to go talk to the salespeople right now.
I like that.
All right,
idea.
we get back. We're going to finish up the week for you. Hope you're having a great Friday. Hope you're going to have a safe and fun weekend. We will be here for you until 2 o'clock, until the best show ever coming up. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Last few minutes of the show here as we lead you into the best show ever. Some fun talk during the break, right? Ray's dancing again. He's chair dancing. My man's halfway out the door. He's ready to rock and roll, get down the beach. Now, are you going straight from here? What are you doing?
Yeah, right from here. Yeah, I'm packed.
Okay.
I'm packed and ready to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Car's fully gassed?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, ready to
As
go.
you will be in about 5 or 6 hours?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. That's
sure.
not a good way to go, Ray. Now, your mom texted you during the break here, or what's going on? You have some stuff going on that you need to tell us about.
No, you're just welcome down the shore. That's what I got from my family. So you and Donna.
Okay.
They said specifically Donna. They have not met Donna, but they said something to the effect of, wow, if someone could put up with Bob that much, they must be a fun time.
Now, who said that, your mom?
Yes.
Or no, you just added that in there. I never, my wife gets that line all the time. And you guys know calm, normal Bob. You guys don't know me outside of the offices. But Donna does get that line a lot, and I think it not angers her, but it makes her think I'm somebody I'm not or something. I don't know. But go ahead. What else? Didn't you have something else?
Oh, yeah. Then I had I've disappointed my family with my viewpoint on the weather.
You have no viewpoint on the weather.
That's correct. I have no view of the weather at all, because why would I do that?
Now, that's silly. Why would you do it? Because weather affects everything you do.
I mean, we do this show, rain or shine.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Weather is a part of your everyday life.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess if you want to buy technicality, yeah.
Did the weather hurt you at some point? I totally don't understand.
If it had hurt me, that probably would give me a reason to look at it, right?
No, it hurt you so bad you don't want to look at it anymore.
No, it's never hurt me.
I'm telling. I can't. I just if you were going out to San Diego.
Yeah,
that's a bad place because it's always 72
80 degrees and sunny.
You're an idiot.
Yeah,
but if you're going somewhere for a week, you don't check out, look ahead, or
I told you when I travel with the women's basketball team, I pack long sleeve, a short sleeve. I pack basically, and usually they're 2-day trips. So I got enough to. I got what I'm going to wear at the arena. I've got what I'll wear around. I've got what I'll wear over those 2 days, and that's about it.
But if you went to San Antonio and you knew you're going on the Riverwalk, for example, outside, all right, so you're going to be hanging out outside. You don't look ahead and say, because it could be 80, it could be 40.
I pack. When we get there, someone's going to be like, ooh, it's going to be a little cool tonight. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll go with the long sleeve that I packed.
But what if it's long sleeve and a jacket weather?
Well, then I probably should have brought a jacket. I don't know. Then I just go into the bar, and I'm inside, and all of a sudden the weather doesn't mean much.
I don't know. You've lost me on this one.
That's okay. I think I lost you quite a bit ago with this. But yeah, for the final poll numbers of the poll on my own personal
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There are people that don't ever check the weather. It is a small percentage, and it was hardly any votes. But it was...
so nobody voted, and out of those nobody that voted...
A few nobodies said they don't check the weather. So I appreciate those people. And we had the guy in Venice. Was it Venice Beach? Guy in Florida?
Yeah, guy in Florida doesn't. No kidding. He's on the West Coast. He's on the Gulf. It's probably, 80 degrees every day. No wonder he doesn't check the weather. Okay, that's a given.
I think he's got a point.
We have 4 seasons here. It changes rapidly every... What do you mean, It's
like 2.5.
I want to go to a Union game with Ray in October, November, and I'm going to tell him it's going to be 75 degrees, and I want you to show up with your short sleeve, done jersey, with your number on the back, and I want it to be snowing, and I just want to sit there and laugh at you, and I'm going to hold you so you will not be able to get undercover or go indoors and just freeze your ass off.
That's not true.
That is true.
I will find
That's what I'm going to do. Well, listen, we thank you for being with us today. We hope you have a great weekend. Stay tuned for the best show ever coming up next.